Hello.
Well, hello, everyone.
Welcome
How are you doing on this fine Sunday afternoon?
on this fine couch.
Blue skies, golden sunshine. I'm your co-host,
wait.
Skyler.
It's Thursday night.
It's Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Is that when this uploads?
It's always Thursday night.
Well, we always record it Sunday, so that's what it is.
Wall breaking.
I mean, well, Sunday is like the penultimate, like, fuck it day, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a petition to rename Sunday Fuck It Day.
Okay.
Where you just sleep in all the time. And it's like, it's so fitting that we lost an hour today, too. No, we gained an extra hour today.
Yeah, we gained an hour.
Like, man, I slept in like a whole bunch.
We record 2 weeks earlier.
And I woke up and I was just like, oh, hell yeah. I technically woke up at 11 today. Bless. He went off to go look at the cats or open the door or something. Like I said, I'm your co-host, Skyler.
I'm James. There are 2 litter boxes in my room now instead of one out here, so it never smells like that out here.
Oh, so you have to go to sleep with it being, like, smelly?
Nah, it's usually good by that time.
Or you can just move it back out here.
I move one back out here overnight.
You know, you should put the litter boxes on wheels so that way it'll be easier to move around.
I still keep my cats separated at night, but never during the day anymore, because at night, they'll fucking wake me up if they're together. Okay, so what are we doing today?
Well, we didn't even say what channel they're watching, you know?
Oh,
they might be lost and be like, what the fuck is this?
They could be, but they're, okay.
This is the Talking Shed.
Fair enough, yeah. It is, I guess. It's the Shedheads podcast.
I keep calling it the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And my brain does the thing. It's like, don't call it the wrong thing. So, like, I think Shedheads podcast. I'm like, no, that's wrong. And do the flip. You know? You know that thing, guys?
Right.
I did want to point out, in this header part, intro part.
Warning, controversial opinions, most likely.
Yes, very controversial opinions incoming right now as well. I find it, like, very fitting just that I already forgot we talked about Dark Side of the Moon last podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Just like the album, it's not unique.
Wow.
I forgot about it.
Okay, yeah, there's a controversial opinion immediately.
That's why I said warning.
Okay, everyone. Well, we have a couple things that we're talking. I just forgot what you recommended, and we watched it yesterday.
Yeah, we have we have an agenda like always.
Yes. Okay. But first,
we're from our sponsor.
Yeah, we're not talking about a movie first. We're talking about an album.
This podcast is sponsored by honey.
It's really not, and we shouldn't say that.
It's delicious, but it does fuck up bees. So.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right.
Get it, funny. All right, what are we talking about today? What do we have?
We are first talking about my recommendation for you. A classic... I'm
pop culture classic.
Yes, a classic album, if you will,
amongst us Gen Zers.
Yes,
and
from
millennials alike.
From 2001, 2003. Okay, I'm thinking of the other one then. Yes, Linkin Park's Meteora. An album that resonated with every kid of this generation.
This one's a big one.
Has grown up.
This is like the Dark Side of the Moon, but for scene kids.
It kind of is like.
No, like I realized that like on my last listen, I was like, yeah, this is a big deal album, so I'm a little worried.
Yeah. All right.
This is a bigger deal because, like, you know, who's really gonna be offended about Dark Side of the Moon? Like your dad, I think.
It's like
and like maybe like, you know, the Pink Floyd sub, but.
Yeah, you might
have. Know they're pretty sad already.
You might offend a friend of ours who should be listening to this.
That's true. Because quick side note, in real life, because we talk about you know, our channel and everything, because we're, you know, gross like that.
Oh yeah, slimy.
But it was more like, oh yeah, we're sharing shit that the other one hasn't experienced yet, and then you just showed. Which I assume now is just, you know, the Spotify page of, you know, Meteora.
Yes.
To them. And she was just like, what? How have you never heard that? I was just like, oh gosh, what is it?
Yep.
I figured it was along the lines of Linkin Park. So here we are. We're talking about it now.
A special album. Yes. This album, as I mentioned last week, it's literally my earliest memory. Being in the backseat of my mom's van with my whole family in the car, driving to Ontario, Canada.
Not Ontario, California.
No, with this album playing. a particular song on here was the first time that I felt like I need to hear that song again now.
Let me guess, it was Numb.
No. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. And
I was
over,
just making it funny.
over and over, and it was just like, ah, shit. And then like, I think that might have been like, man, I connect with that. As opposed to like my brother showed me Green Day and Blink-182 and all this other stuff, and My Chemical Romance, because he was that emo kid kind of, and I don't know, now he hates emo kids.
Yeah, your brother sounded cool when you were growing up.
Yeah, he likes some cool shit. Now he likes brutal grindcore death metal stuff.
Yeah, his whole playlist is just only metal, and then like one Smash Mouth song.
Yeah, he liked A Day to Remember for like 2 weeks in 2009, and that's how I found them, and that's why I like them. But then he thinks that they're stupid too. Right. So yeah, I guess we should stop prolonging the inevitable and discuss.
And finally, like, break this apart. Well, I mean, I will say, like, also, again, we're talking about generalities. The general
actually,
whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I figured it was going to be like an early memory for you. Like, I'm sure it is for like pretty much everyone. Like, American Idiot is,
Yeah. Before you say anything, actually, common knowledge about Linkin Park, their singer, Chester Bennington.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So he unfortunately committed suicide in 2017.
Oh shit.
And
I didn't know about that.
Oh, okay. I thought you knew what I was.
No, I didn't.
Getting it. Yeah. And
wow,
so
that's fucked.
it kind of was a big hit to a lot of people. I remember waking up and seeing that 2 days after my birthday, I think. And like, or no, it was the 21st, so it was a few days after my birthday. And I didn't believe that at all. Like, I thought everyone on Facebook was sharing it, and it was some like untrustable website, and I was like,
right, yeah,
yeah, sure, because he was like 43 or something. He was like pretty young still. And it hit me, and I went back and listened to all their shit, like, because I hadn't in like 7 or 8 years. I was just like, nah, I'm never gonna listen to Linkin Park again. That shit is just like what you listen to, and you're angry, and you're growing up, and blah blah blah, and because there was a point in my life where I was like, what are these guys even talking about? Like, in real life, you're never this angry and you're never this blah, 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 and now that had been so many years later, I realized like how real a lot of this stuff that they're kind of discussing and how genuine it is, even though it seems so surface level. Like,
yeah,
this really... Before you say what you're going to say, assuming some will not be positive, I just want to say, like, I think we respect Chester and the band and how much they've helped a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I was just going to say, like, because first of all, I do have no idea where to start with this album.
Yeah.
But I do, general thoughts, like, I do respect a lot what they do,
Mm-hmm.
I got respect for it, even if it's, like, not... completely in my style or taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know he committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You hear all these things, about teen suicide. Everybody's doing that, but like, depression, it's just it persists.
Yeah.
For lifetimes. There are people who would be in their 50s still thinking about that.
It's really a big deal that they were around back then, this big, like, in the mainstream, and they were talking about things like depression and mental health, because now, like, it's everywhere. Now it's kind of like an aesthetic. Like, it's kind of weird, like, that it's come to where it is. But back then, it was kind of a unique thing to have these topics out there.
Yeah, I do like it. Yeah, on the one hand, it is like, aesthetics, and some people are just it's a style for them, but like I still don't in any way like under what's the word,
undervalue, undermine,
under something, I don't know, like I don't like not think for a second that anybody's like what someone else is going through is like less than what it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's got their own story. Everyone's got what they're dealing with, and literally, I mean, it's tough for lots of people. But like, all you can do, and really, the message that I just want to spread is just be nice to each other. Maybe not if they support Trump. Or
Okay.
if they don't wear masks and all that. I mean, like, specifically to like people you're close to, or even not as close to, where if you guys were friends and kind of just fell off because of life, that person, wherever they are, could have been going through like some really rough shit. So like, just a simple like reconnect of like, hey, how you been doing, can really mean a lot to someone and make their day better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really
break
thought
things up.
Yeah, I really thought you did know that about Chester, because it recontextualizes a lot of lyrics across their albums, and some on here are like pretty hard to listen to, because it's coming out of his mouth.
Well, yeah, no, genuinely, this whole album does feel very passionate.
Yeah,
else.
And that has a lot to do with, while we're on general thoughts, he is. We're talking about obviously there's a singer and there's like the rapper, and
right.
Mike Shinoda being the rapper, and Chester, he's like such a unique and amazing vocalist. It's fucking badass, and it is a sadness. I'm not memeing it, but it is like that happened.
I do want to point out for the record, I was like partly memeing when I said, unless they're a Trump supporter.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're like, unless they like do ridiculous shit like knock down people's mailboxes and are just insane. But like,
take care of each other.
Yeah, simple as that. I have great friends that actually like, are Republican.
Yeah.
And like I've like talked with them, and it was kind of in the way that we talk or argue about things, where it's just like it's fun to discuss it.
That's how it should be.
Kind of just work out your brain a little bit. Literally, like I remember with one of my friends that we had this huge like talk just about everything, politics, religion, just the whole shebang for like a good couple hours, just after school, and then the next day we just like talked to each other as if nothing happened. We're just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. For sure.
It's interesting to learn about other people's outlook on life.
That's
just keep an open mind for everybody.
Thank you. Yeah.
I also did want to say, like, yes, although I got a little sidetracked, although it is kind of like a fashion for some people, or like kind of, I don't know, it's like appealing to some people to like, they think in their sub-brain where they're like, oh, if I have this, I'll have depth or something. People will like me. I'll be accepted more. I mean, it's kind of weird where it's like the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, but like, it's still, I do like now how there is so much awareness like around it,
Yeah, I would
say that you have like all these issues, like whatever issues you have, just open up to someone and they can get it, and they can like won't look at you differently.
Yeah, I would say Linkin Park even like kind of became pigeonholed into that thing, like, oh, they're doing it for attention or for the aesthetic of it, like because it's angry music and it's known. Like we were just joking about like, oh, every scene kid's favorite album, it's angsty, it's blah blah blah, but it is real and it is genuine, and like it's really tragic what happened.
It's also because like it came
and mental
out,
health is serious.
It came out 10 years too late, really.
This album?
Yeah, when I think about the sound, it's very like early 2000s. Pre 2010. But like it would have been more accepted by like majority of people, I guess. I mean, it still is. Linkin Park's a fucking astronomically huge band.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I'm just saying, I guess, because I'm just glad that early 2000s is just gone. Like, just don't deal with it. It's such a gross time period.
Yeah, we got a lot of good art in movies and music.
Yeah, we did, but like just in terms of day-to-day life, like literally nothing was accepted. It was like it's really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's sidetracking a bit.
So yeah, this is I guess like a little pre-discussion then.
A little PSA, getting a little serious, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to just mention that because I didn't know. I thought you knew.
I did want to get like my stance on that clear. because I do come off as a bit of an asshat. I'm aware of it
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that. And also maybe because I'm giving myself a little slack for later,
Sure.
for what we talk about this album. But I do genuinely respect like what they do with this album and just the band in general.
And I don't think it's really up for debate that he was an amazing and passionate vocalist.
Most definitely.
Especially like I don't know, we'll talk about it more, but when he screams sometimes, like, it's very visceral. Like, it's like more powerful than I'd say like most other screams that I've heard in music, and I think that's why it kind of connects with people. But also he can go to this like such kind of tender place vocally that feels very warm and like soft, and man, I fucking love this guy. My only other main note for this album was that Spotify butchered some great transitions.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
It's only like an issue with a handful of songs in the middle.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 that I'm just used to hearing transition nicely, and then Spotify does some weird shit with it. Did you have anything else before we get into it?
I was just gonna start steering in the direction of talking about it, so to give a little transition. And that is like, obviously, since I'm talking about this the first time, I have no nostalgic value to this album.
Yes.
There's nothing holding it back. This is, first time through it. I mean, I've heard a couple of songs, obviously, like just out and about that were the hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, no nostalgia other than like, some friends tried showing me shit. And it was like Linkin Park, American Idiot, and Eminem. It was like the big 3 that like people tried showing me. I was just like, huh, cool. Anyway, I'm gonna listen to Beatles now.
And I guess American Idiot ended up sticking. But today we're talking about Meteora. So let's get into that.
Yeah, Meteora. Well,
what do we got?
What do we have? We're going track by track again.
We are going track by track.
Yeah, and also I did listen with the lyrics open.
The third time, yeah.
Yes, because, I do not really pay attention to lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I only hear it 3 times. It will take like really realistically more than 5 before I really like start to pick up on lyrics. And even then,
yeah,
there are gonna be lots of parts where it's just like but yeah,
so that's why I had you listen with them.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the first track on this album?
All right, well, technically it's Forward.
Yeah, I didn't bother writing it down because I can't even hear this, honestly.
Hear this?
No, I can't even really hear it. Also, like, both times they've listened to this, like, that wasn't in your car. Weirdly enough, it was hard to get the album started. Like, Spotify would randomly just be like, now we're not playing it, and just pause it.
Huh. All right.
And, like, one time it just fucked the transition into the first song, where it just, like, buffered, and I was like, the fuck? And then I went back, played Forward, and then like skip forward to the first real track, and then it played. So like I don't know if it was something fucky or if my internet's just really that trash. But yeah, I don't really remember the sound that was being used to transition into it.
To me, this has just always sounded like someone like with an ice pick, like breaking through into the underwater.
I just plain don't remember it because also like it was so quiet. By the time I hear it, Spotify paused it or some shit, and just did something stupid.
Well, it's really not something we're gonna talk about, obviously, because it's basically that you hear some like clinking and then glass breaks, and we're into
it's a warm up.
The second track, yeah.
That's what this is.
Forward, which I have placed in the other category, of course.
It's a preamble, is what it is.
Yes. Into the first real track here, Don't Stay.
Don't Stay. Fuck, we're really talking about this album now.
We're doing it.
I prefer to preach the whole time, if that's okay.
Yes. Okay. So, notably about Don't Stay, I don't think there's really any rapping in the song.
Oh.
Which is, I guess, kind of...
There was. Like, just a little bit.
I can't think right now. I believe it's almost like completely rap free. It's at least there's no like there's the rest of it's more formulaic with like back and forth rapped verses and then like sung choruses.
Is Linkin Park just like two people in the band?
No, it's like 6 or 7 or something.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a bit. Cause I just found it fun. I had this funny thought where I was like, wonder if this is like Ween, where one of them was like, yeah, grungy and like electric guitars, and the other one's like rap though.
I don't know how it happened, but they're clearly like the most successful example of this rap rock.
I mean
thing.
It's unique, sure, just not
new
really,
metal.
It's just really not my taste, honestly. That's like what I'm gonna be saying for pretty much like this whole time we're talking about this. And of course it's biased, but like I still try to like go into this, objectively as I can, judge it for what it is, but also, I am me. So, Don't Stay is in comfortably like,
comfortably like.
I did kind of think about putting this in meh, honestly. I think a lot of the songs on here don't fit squarely into a category. It's just kind of like, oh, I kind of want to put it in meh, but like not really enough. And I do like the stuff that's going on here, like with the beats. Of course, lyrics. The lyrics just throughout, just every song, just gonna get out of the way, are done like really well. There's some powerful stuff that are happening in the lyrics that I really like and can resonate with.
Interesting.
And it makes the theme of the album, even more apparent. Like I wouldn't have. It brought value to it that I wouldn't have like picked up.
That's good. That's what I was hoping it would do. But I was also kind of thinking you might think like, because they get that criticism a lot of cheesy lyrics and like just being
I think
general.
There should be a lot of respect for it because there's not a whole lot that's like being repeated, genuinely good rhymes that you didn't expect. It's not like, just, oh, I'm feeling blue, thinking so much about you, just that dumb shit,
Yeah, right.
There's a rhyme that just like it happens and you're off guard because like it's not something too similar to the word that it rhymes with,
Yeah, this
like
is
in one of the later songs. It goes to and then you. So like, you get a plosive and then just a whatever the other one is. Not plosive, just whatever.
I'm gonna say I don't listen to any rap. Like this is literally the closest I listen to rap. So I don't know what like people who are avid rap connoisseurs think about Linkin Park.
I'm not big on rap for exactly the reason Bo Burnham talked about, and we went into last podcast. So again, check that out if you guys want to. And that is like it's just a beat making fetish, and it's the same beat, it's the same melody. They're rapping about just whatever. Like there's actually like purpose for this.
Yeah,
that is actually painting shit.
Right.
We're kind of again talking more broadly as opposed to track by track. Don't Stay. I think it's kind of just like if I had to like just think of any benchmark Linkin Park song, it'd be this one. It's just honestly, it's kind of forgettable in that same way, but it doesn't do anything wrong for me to put it into meh. I do like the guitars, I like the beats, and vocals and singing.
Which is mostly vocals.
Yeah, mostly vocals.
Well, it's mostly.
And yelling too.
Yeah, it's mostly not rapping, as I said, or no rapping.
I wouldn't put this on. I want to put this in a playlist, but I can dig it. I can respect it.
Yeah, I'd say like your perfect Linkin Park song would still be In the End, which isn't on this album. Like that gives you the taste of everything: rapped verses, screamed choruses, and then like the bridge where it takes it down a notch, and then it comes back on. That's like the formula for Linkin Park. But this I get what you mean.
I guess with this song it's also just kind of predictable too.
This is this is like a Chester led standard benchmark Linkin Park song.
Yeah, like I mean he does that good. It's just my problem with Linkin Park is that and I guess with the album is that it all kind of sounds the same.
It's formulaic.
I mean, yeah. I'm just not hearing formulaic as we've been over.
That's not always to something's detriment, in my opinion.
No, but it's like it does depend, on how it
matters how much
other stuff.
It matters if you like the formula, because like with Green Day, that's very formulaic as well. But it's something that appeals more.
I thought for this album I needed more than 3 listens, and I still do. I think in order to like fully grasp it, because right now I'm like, I mean, I can picture like the the chorus with it, but it just it blends into other songs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about this and I'm like, I know that it just goes into another song.
I guess maybe what you mean when you're thinking about like the rapping, the chorus is kind of rappy, but it's like still Chester.
Yeah.
Forget our memories. Yeah.
Don't stay.
Yeah. This one for me is in like as well.
Get me back to myself. I think that's the song. I don't know. I forget.
I don't know. Those weren't the words, I don't think. But
that's words to another song, at least. That's words to one of the songs here. I mean, that's my problem with this song.
So for me, yeah, it's in like it was very difficult for me to categorize these because they're all just like, yeah, it's the song. Like,
I'm glad I wasn't the only one, but like,
well, for me, it's totally different. It's like for you categorizing maybe a Beatles album. It's like I never thought of this like this. Like, that's what it was like for me. So at first I was putting like literally every song in love because I was like, yes, it's the song.
Gotcha.
It's the one I grew up with.
So different reasons why it was hard for us to categorize. For me, I was like, I'm not huge on it, but like I do kind of dig it and doesn't really do anything like,
that's fair.
Too sinful, really. That's like, you know, like it's a feeling based thing for it's this categorization. That's the point of it.
Yeah, I feel like this. We're gonna get the reintroduction of some dislikes, which will be cool for discussion. I don't have any dislikes. I do have some.
We haven't had dislikes in quite a while, so that would be interesting.
I do have some meh, but I don't have any.
I'm
dislikes.
not gonna spoil anything. But
all right, let's go forward.
Somewhere I Belong.
Yeah. What did you think of this one?
I've already forgot what this sounds like. I'm gonna be real. I put it at the top of like.
Okay.
Actually, wait. No, I think. Yeah, I think I was like, okay, I'm gonna order these in like where I like them, but then I was like, no,
I wanna heal, I wanna feel like I'm close to something real. Yeah, that one.
Somewhere I belong. Okay,
I will never know. Yeah.
No, yeah, I like this one. There's not it's pretty catchy. Like the melody is varied enough from Don't Stay, and makes it just a bit more interesting. It's still like a very, very Linkin Park.
Yeah, it's got the rap verses just stuck. Hollow and alone, and the fault is my own, and the fault is my own. Yeah. It's very Linkin Park, which isn't surprising because it is. But
I'm gonna be playing some of these because there's like some.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Also, the transition to here is really nice.
There's a lot of that.
I love when albums transition and shit. It makes it feel uniform. But the problem is with Linkin Park is it's a little too uniform, you know?
Yeah. So I knew you hate the record scratches, and there's a lot of that on this album. You've never liked that.
I don't like the records. Well, like
they've got a guy for that.
Here's the thing. I do. Okay, I think it fits in areas. I just think in this album as a whole, it's very overused.
It's kind of.
I think it'd be cool, like just toss in there to like kind of like paint and everything like a cowbell, you know?
It was almost like special for them.
It's almost like it's like they followed the meme of the cowbell where it's like not enough cowbell. And they were like not enough record scratching, and they actually like put in a lot more. But here, since it's like in the beginning, I'm not gonna knock it down for that.
I don't have a problem with them, but the funny thing is I know that is some nostalgia goggles because I usually am like, oh, when I hear that too. Like, I know like Unwritten Law did it in a song, and I don't mind it, but I'm like, huh.
I mean, also like with the rapping.
With this, I like it though.
Yeah, with the rapping sections, it's genuinely a vibe. Like, it's not like overplayed or anything. Like, it's not overhyped. Yeah, it's literally just a simple drum track, and then he's just kind of going through emotions, so you really feel the rhythm. It like works in tandem.
It's atmospheric, yeah.
And you just have the keyboard just kind of holding the chords, not doing any just like, you know, exactly what every other rap song does, which is just like do 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 do, some shit like that. Just doing like the notes of a chord, just something like super lazy, where it's like, oh, I'm writing this. It's like there's actually like, it's almost like there was thought put into the rapping section, which is pretty cool. I think.
Almost, yeah. Then there's they did kind of the in the end thing here with the Chester and then Mike back and forth. Like, I think it starts like, when this began, I had nothing to say. Yeah.
No, they do that a lot in this album, and I actually really like that. It kind of makes it bring everything together, make it unified, you know?
Yeah, I don't care how overplayed, how much of a meme it is. I really like In the End as well, and Crawling. Fuck you guys. I like Crawling a lot. It's a powerful song.
I honestly dig Crawling since we're talking about it.
Yeah, I really like that. Not just the chorus, like the verses are so fucking. The verses are what hurts in that song. But that's a different album.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should go with this or Hybrid Theory. I should mention. But this is kind of the one that I think people agree is just like a bit better. At least in my opinion, like this was the one that I got to Hybrid Theory after this. And they're kind of both like the same album. Like this is kind of like a continuation of what they were doing there. So I went with this one.
For sure.
Yep.
I mean, this one kind of seems more like the benchmark, I guess. I don't know if all Linkin Park albums sound the same.
No,
like
they
this.
don't. They get a lot of criticism for that because they went down like this more like this more like electronic and rappy route and more glitchy route. But before that they went more like rock and heavier. Like that might have been your favorite Linkin Park album, but I wanted to give you one that I grew up with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they had like heavier stuff, and then they're doing some poppier stuff, right?
It's kind of like the hybrid, the place to like start people.
Yeah, dude.
So it's like if you want more rap, go with the newer stuff. If you want more rock, go with the older stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of like a mixed bag. But their last album, One More Light, like it wasn't really well received. Like Fantano, like give it a not good or something. I think,
really?
But like, I don't care. Like, if you listen to some songs on there, like the song One More Light, and know that he like died that year or the year later from suicide, it's real. It's heartbreaking. It is hard to listen to, and I'll have to show you that. Because it's just all recontextualized.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going on some tangents because I never talk about this band. Like, I feel like they deserve it.
Oh yeah,
a
like
little
I'm
bit.
sure it'll be interesting to like hear back and just hear us talk about it.
And we know someone will listen to this. So
yeah, for sure.
Here you go.
They will enjoy it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, this is kind of like, like I said, the album to like start people with. Like
Yeah.
the start here, kind of flow chart, just like Dark Side. That's like Dark Side of the Moon is like the start for that.
Yeah, this will show you what they were all about.
If you want more, a stronger concept and more rock, you go with The Wall. If you want like, kind of the same sound, but more unique, you go metal. Things like that.
These two albums actually became like kind of a burden for the band because everyone was so divided on like, you guys don't make good music anymore. Make music like the first two. I remember there was even an interview when Chester was still alive, obviously, and like in a sentence he was gonna say the word crawling, but he like stopped himself and said a different word because like that's how much it was like, that's how
into his brain.
because people want to hear the old stuff, they don't like the new stuff. Like at least that's I guess that's just speculation from the interviewer and like from the interview and from comments and from just seeing how that played out. But it's kind of sad to think how much of a burden it became, that people wanted to only hear this stuff.
That's a shame.
But it's what they're known for, I guess. So yeah, we can finally move on. I like that one a lot too. I put it right under Don't Stay, but it might have more merit. I think. I don't know. I like it. Lying From You.
Lying From You.
This is an interesting intro. I don't know what's really going on there. I always forget that it begins like this.
It's kind of like a lo-fi, just like sound effects.
And then it goes into
and then you get like, really loud, distorted guitars.
The new metal. This always has been one of my favorite choruses on the album. Like, this was actually, do you remember ringbacks? Like when you call someone and you hear a song play? I had this for a while.
That's funny. I don't ever remember that. I didn't have a phone until I was older.
Yeah, do you remember which one this is yet? Or do you have to wait for the chorus?
I have to wait for the chorus. Unless you can demo it for me.
Trying. I wanna be back my life. I'd rather be all alone. Yeah. This is one of my favorite choruses. Something I noticed is how often Mike says that, though. Is how often he's like, no turning back now. Like he says it every time it hits that bar. which was kind of funny for me. I'm like, you really don't notice that's there, and when you do think about it, it's like he says that a lot.
Yeah. See, here I'm gonna have to disappoint you.
That's fine.
I put it in dislike.
Interesting.
Yeah. What? By the way, I did rename because it's been a while since I had put the categories for this.
Is it nah?
No, it's called whack.
Whack. Okay.
So at the bottom we have whack, and at the top we have fucks with. So, yeah. I put it in whack, but I think I had to listen to it again because I was like, why is this in whack? Because I don't remember specifically, and I think it's just because it's so repetitive.
Yeah, I really like the chorus.
I dig it too, but after the second time, it's just okay, I get it, and kind of like the yelling. I know it's emotional, but it just kind of got up my nerves.
Which part?
Just the chorus part where he's yelling.
Okay, huh?
Just kind of holding out the note. I just found that it just felt unnatural because there's some effect on his voice, and I'm not huge on kind of the synthy broken up beat in the beginning. That's
oh yeah,
gone throughout. It's just a little it just feels so weird and just unmusical to me. This is almost modern day rap almost with how that beat is kind of structured.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's unique, sure. I just didn't think it worked.
I'm the worst person to discuss rap and its trends.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't be anybody's ally here, because I'm just okay.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I mean, same, but
I don't know.
Mostly, if I ever talk about rap, it's just gonna be mostly negative, but not because anything to do with the genre. There's a lot of respect that goes into it. Just the rapping parts for here, I still got respect for this song. I just didn't like it. It was a net negative for me to listen to. It just got more on my nerves than anything.
Clearly, what drew me to Linkin Park more than anything was the rock side. Admittedly, if I hear a verse of a song and it's a rapped verse and it's kind of disconnected at this point, because it's been years since I listened to them regularly, I'll have to be which song is that? And then I have to think through the rap because I know the words, and once I get to the chorus, I know what song it is.
Yeah.
And that's not really what you're talking about, but that's just me not being I guess warmed up to the genre as a whole. But what I'm saying is the rock aspect of Linkin Park is definitely what drew me in as a kid. And this is still one of my favorite choruses. I know you said it doesn't really work for you. It really works for me melodically.
It might be brought up to meh later on, but I mean, just listening to it as a whole, which I only categorize these after I listened to them. Yeah, all the way through. I didn't it. It's not it came on and I was whack, because of,
yeah,
because of the intro. I waited for it to
yeah, I do that too.
I think I didn't want to put this in meh, but I was I genuinely just don't like listening to this as much to put it in meh, because meh is indifferent, and I kind of actively dislike parts that are in the song. So here we go. Finally, we have a dislike.
We do after quite a while.
Yeah. So
they used to be on here, but I know I used to give some
too.
of those.
I'm not gonna hold back. You
shouldn't,
because it'll make it it'll make more interesting.
And yeah,
I don't like this song,
and I'll be oh, I really do. What doesn't work? Yeah, and there we go.
And we talked about it. So
for me, it's In Love. Yeah.
Wow, quite a difference.
Yeah, which is cool. It's my fourth favorite on the album.
So it's the runner-up. We're only counting in the threes in terms of favorites.
Yeah, but I thought I'd mention that just because.
Yeah, sure. It's a runner-up.
So yeah, I really do like it. I liked it less than I thought I remembered because, as I said, I went into this song and I was the chorus fucking bangs. It was my ring back, and then I was just it really doesn't stack up quite as much as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
There are some better songs here, but it's still really good.
I have a
still
feeling
love
we're
it.
gonna have the same favorites.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Moving on.
So a little hard to predict mine with this, probably. I would guess. We'll see. We're at Hit the Floor.
I guess. Hit the Floor. I really do like this intro.
Pretty heavy song.
Okay. I'm just gonna throw it out there. This is in high like, I would say.
Okay.
This is I think the
Are
highest,
there any loves or fucks with?
We'll get there.
Okay.
If there is, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay. All right.
But this is a very high like. For me, this intro works. The other one didn't. But like this one's weird, but it's kind of got a funky element, and I'm already like getting into a groove. And then as soon as like the distorted guitars come in, it's just the same thing, but like just grungy, and then you're really into it.
This is perhaps the heaviest song on the album.
Yeah, and I really enjoy the lyrics for this too.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's honestly poetic, and like the word choice that they went with.
What goes up will surely fall, and I'm counting down the time. Yeah. I really love that. Say, like the way it cuts, it glitches his voice.
Like it almost breaks it. I'm playing it, by the way, if it wasn't clear.
Yeah. What, Richard? Like, this is, the way he screams in this is so fucking visceral. Like, listen to that shit. Yeah, it's so much heavier than, like, and most like, of the screams on this album.
When it goes into that, like, screaming, is that the chorus? Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when it goes into that, it kind of is like, I forget what the rock genre, the metal genre is called. There's so many subgenres of
this
metal.
Is new metal.
Of metal. Yeah, I know, but it kind of like, it faked me out because I thought it was going to be the subgenre of metal where like the lyrics like matched the rhythm with the drums and the guitar.
I don't know what that is.
So it's like da 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 da, but it like did that for like a little bit to make me think about it, and then it doesn't. It kind of breaks off. It does its own rhythm, but it works with like the rest of the rhythm that's going on. So you get like this really like cool like subdivision of drums and guitar and the vocals. So that's how. This is an example of why the rap works for me.
Right.
And of course we get like, really, really deep lyrics.
Yeah.
And shit that's really cool. I don't remember any offhand, but
it's just about, it's
reading it and I was just like, yeah.
It's kind of about like someone who, it's like, I guess uses you, like is on the,
I remember it was
is
like,
on top. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was below you, but like, I don't know, something about like, I'm gonna have the upper hand at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of about
the floor, like
it's all about kind of like a pretty obviously
like
unhealthy power dynamic. Yeah.
But I mean, everyone would kind of think that, especially when you're younger, going through a breakup. I guess it's the immature way of an unhealthy way of like mentality of a breakup.
Yeah,
it's like the whole like idea of who wins the breakup, I guess. And like the stupid like song and dance about like
Yeah, and for me it's like a question of, is it about like a friendship or a relationship or what? Because it's, the lyrics are like, so many people like me put so much trust in all your lies. And something so concerned with what you'll say.
This is the song, because I remember there was a lyric that said something like, "You divide us, yet you lied anyway."
Yeah. You knew your lies would divide us, but you lied anyway. And there's like so many people like me walk on eggshells all day long. Yeah, so I thought you would like the lyrics for this.
No, yeah, I do. And like again,
I feel like this could,
it does like make the other themes super apparent. For me, like the album as a whole is, to me, obviously about relationships. So it's interesting that you can like, oh, maybe it's about friendships and all that. But to me, it just screams that. And, the album's theme is really about, like, finding yourself, pretty much.
Yeah.
As weird as that may sound for lots of people, but, like...
No, I think it totally is.
I can really relate to the lyrics in that way, because, like, that's something genuinely I've struggled with, like, pretty much as soon as, like, I hit puberty. Like, when, like, the whole thought about, like, oh, I'm not as good as I used to be or whatever... Or like, who am I now? Like, and if you're not careful, you can let like relationships kind of, take that part of you. You lose sight.
Yeah,
of,
and
like,
we
yourself.
get more of that in some of these other ones for sure.
Yeah,
some of them feel
that's what the theme is to me.
Some of them feel more clearly about like a love relationship, like that, romantic kind of relationship. But others like feel like they could be applied to just shitty, toxic people in your life in general.
Like I said, the lyric earlier.
This one feels more like that to me.
Give me back to myself.
Yeah.
You made me forget who I was. Things like that.
Yeah. That's in Lying From You, which we just talked about. He says, the very worst part of you is me. And that's like,
No, it's the very worst part of me is you.
No. Because it's the very worst part of you is me.
That's right. No, there was.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. He goes so hard in that.
Yeah, I like that.
but high, it's so much harder to do like that. That's coming from like inside. It's less of like, and more like, yeah, like he's putting his all into that.
That's the other kind of metal.
That's how he screams. It's so great.
Like the is growling, and then like the high one is like screaming, which is which I can't do. That's too hard for me. That's why I do have respect for like metal for metal singers.
That's what feels so passionate.
How are you doing this without like destroying your voice? Like that's impressive to me.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, rap
that's
is
the kind of screaming I like to do.
You know, staying in Yeah, I can't do it. My throat's a little whack. I'm fine though. I think it's just like over talking. Yeah.
That's what I do. That's like the kind of screaming I try and do. Or like it's really cathartic to scream along to stuff like this.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah. So
I thought there was a lyric that said something like how it was like the worst part of me is you. Like I thought that was in another song. Or something like that.
Maybe something like that. That specific lyric from Lying From You is the very worst part of you is me.
Gotcha. Well,
but it's the same thing, same sentiment.
Anyways,
that one sounds like it's about a relationship.
Hit the Floor. I do enjoy this.
Yeah.
I guess this will be my runner-up if I had to have one.
It's your fourth favorite?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's in my love category. Almost at the bottom of my love category.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So kind of in the same ballpark, I guess.
And yeah, I noted the lyrics and the chorus vocals, which is what we talked about. Like I didn't even have to look at those notes.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just kind of like go off of memory because, you know, the things that stick with me are like, you know, the things I'm going to want to talk about, I guess, if I ever had to put a meaning to it. Anyway, moving on.
It's easier to run. Okay, yeah.
Is that the next song?
That's the next song.
Easier to Run. Yeah, I really enjoy this song quite a bit. It's really catchy.
I didn't know how you'd feel about this, but I like it a lot too.
Oh, yeah, this one's in fucks with.
Okay, wait.
So that answers your question from the last.
So there is one that you fuck with. This is almost all sung vocals.
Yeah, I mean I realized, and this is gonna kind of give a spoiler for how I feel about like the rest of it. I enjoy when they're melodic.
Yeah.
Like the intro to this, fucking nice. I really enjoy the and like when they go melodic, it honestly kind of reminds me of AFI.
Ha! Interesting. I think they toured together at some point.
Yeah, and even with like kind of the melodies and like the vocals, it's kind of just a little more scene melody as opposed to like, you know,
something has been taken from deep inside of me.
Yeah, that's it. That's super AFI like.
And the verse in the that is the verse. The bridge in this one's great too.
I'm pretty sure if I did something really similar, I can't put my finger on it.
I can't think of it either.
Or maybe I'm literally thinking of Crawl, like something inside.
It's a lot like Crawl. This song is the fucking sister song to Crawl. It's like almost the same exact formula.
I guess I just realized that. Yeah.
I get them confused a lot. Like if I sing the chorus of Crawl, then I want to sing something has like right after.
Yeah.
But this one has those like that little pre-chorus. If I could change, I would take back the pain.
I love that too. Even though it's honestly like the more simple kind of rap to it, but like just what's being communicated is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like it can be simple. Like, you know, music doesn't have to do like a whole bunch of crazy shit in order for me to like it.
And this
is communicated like, you know, powerfully.
This is one that's hard to listen to knowing what happened with Chester. Because this is all about it's easier to run from your pain, your trauma, your whatever. And I really like the verse, the just washing it aside. It's like kind of pretty similar to the chorus, but I fucking love it, dude. Great song. I don't know if I guess I put it below Hit the Floor, but maybe it should be above that for me. I don't know. These are kind of all in love for me.
Yeah, well, clearly this one's above for me.
Yeah.
I think this is my third favorite still, though.
Okay, so we don't
is this
have
third or second favorite.
We don't have the same top 3 then, for sure. But we might have a couple in common there. I think we will, knowing that you just said the thing about melodic. We'll have at least one in common.
That's like a hint. That's like a foreshadow, I guess. But
we'll have one.
Also, like the chord that it goes to right when it's on run.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Really, I don't know. I've never like looked at it.
Well, I think it goes into a minor chord. That's what it sounds like.
Some of the chords sound like surprisingly beefy.
It breaks it up, you know. It breaks it up from the rest of them. So I'm like, oh, this is my my monkey brain is like, oh, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like easier to run, burn. Yeah, so it's like it's purposely like a little more dissonant too.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
It's a good one. I'd say it's pretty unique for the album. It's definitely that sister song to Crawling.
Yeah, and it's pretty It's really emotional too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like I said a bunch of times already, it's like this one is one of the strongest to be recontextualized.
I just had a thought like this would be good. Fuck, never mind. I was just gonna say this would be a good song to run to, and then I realized like what it was named. But no, genuinely, this is good. Like I would jog into this.
It's pretty slow, but yeah, it works. I've done it.
the emotional and like driving pieces are the ones that I used in my playlist whenever I go running.
We might have the same favorite. I'm thinking.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see.
I want to be surprised because, again, if my brain was like, oh, it's really AFI, and, you're wearing an AFI hoodie right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Love the song.
Yeah, it's great.
Glad we can agree. Glad you have a fucks with.
Yeah, so I'm glad.
And apparently there's going to be a couple more.
I'm glad that you like that I have.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad you have any song, like, because I would imagine if none of these were really like something you'd listen to on your own, you wouldn't just put it
I'm not
there.
like, oh, this is a fucking bop, but I'm like, I really enjoyed that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That said, man, we get this great song, and it's followed up by Faint.
Okay.
I don't like Faint. It's
interesting.
That's whack. Bottom whack.
Faint?
Yeah.
Is my second favorite.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man, why do you like it? I'm sorry. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's just like accentuated of like, oh, this was like until now, Easier to Run is like the high point of the album for me. And then now I get like the lowest low. I get like the lowest valley.
It is funny because this is the song that I heard.
That's the song?
This is the song.
Oh, gosh.
I can't feel. Yeah. No, man. This and the lyrics in the verse are great.
I like the beat that goes with that.
I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard. It's so good.
It's okay. That rhythm of rap is a little too hip hoppy for me.
This is the only place where like I truly fucking connect with the rap like a lot, like pretty much as much as the chorus, because the chorus is I liked it a lot as a kid. Now like I appreciate the rap parts more.
Right.
The words are so good in the verse, and the chorus are like pretty typical.
I just can't stand the violin like intro. And
I love it.
I can't stand it. I'm sorry.
I love it so much.
It makes me feel like I'm playing a Flash game. Like that for me is music that I would find on addicting games, and like same quality. It's just I know it's the point. To kind of be more like lo-fi.
This is a controversial take.
Yeah, I figured it was gonna be. Like, I knew
this is a good one.
I knew looking at like how this is lined up. I'm like, this is gonna be controversial, which is why we had such a long preamble, I guess, talking about it. Because I knew I was gonna have a controversial.
You're allowed to feel things.
Man, I just can't fucking stand that violin. And is this a song where he holds out that Okay, can you like fucking stop? Hold on. Side note.
Oh, and I'm
getting all of these goddamn motherfucking political calls and texts, and it's like, please just shut up.
Huh?
I'm sorry, I got that, and I'm over it. Like look at my this is like getting the Scott things for you.
Yeah.
You talked about this in the Game Shed episode where he gets like things that's like Scott, but it's all porn. For me, I'm just getting all political bullshit. It's just like, please go away.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, side note ended.
Okay. Faint.
I do like when it does pick up and we get back to the guitars.
This song apparently Mike Shinoda I think has said that this song was going to be half the speed it is, and then someone in studio, I don't know if it was like a producer, like a member of the band, like sped it up and put it in double time, and that's why it is the way it is. And faster music really hit me when I was younger, which is maybe why the song stuck for me. I love the violin or whatever that is. It sounds like just a keyboard sound to me, but
it is, but it just sounds so like cheap to me.
I fucking love it, and I'll be real with you because like I know you said you hated it's cheap, it's blah blah blah. I love it, and I still do to this day.
I'm just biased when it comes to that too, because like I don't like I have such a strong distaste for contemporary pop and rap music where and dubstep and electronica. Electronica has gotten like so like genuinely garbage, since like 2010.
Yeah.
And that's because they all recycle the same like stock sounds, and they're so low quality. And it's like you really have this huge studio, and you're like tossing these sounds that you can get off of GarageBand. And to me, that's what that violin sounds like. It's like you took the sound of a violin and made it worse. And to some people, the violin already sounds pretty terrible.
To me, this chorus, I'm willing to admit, is like pretty cheesy at this age. But that's what hit me in that car that day back then.
I like the rhythm that the chorus goes into, and like I still appreciate the lyrics. Like that's not gonna change.
Okay, wait. But can we talk about this bridge though? That scream! Oh man, he goes fucking ham in this song.
Yeah, he goes crazy, but I guess I don't know. He goes back and forth to hip hop and then like new metal, and then like that's just genuine metal.
The verses are truly like great lyrically in the song for me. I don't know. I know lyrics aren't ever going to make or break your song for you. For me, like those really did hold up, like surprisingly.
It's just, have you ever felt like scattered with one of the songs that you've like listened to in terms of like what you think and how you feel about it?
Sure. This is kind of
with this song.
This is kind of compact too. It's 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
I felt the length on this. That's the other thing.
Weird.
I genuinely was like, oh my god, this song is still going. It's only 2 minutes.
Huh. Yeah, totally different opinions. I can't wait. Like we're gonna be getting so much live texting from Vanessa from Vanessa when she hears this back.
Oh man. I'm gonna be genuinely like getting hate for this. Like,
no. Just from one of our friends.
Oh man. I can't stand the song. Well, it wasn't this song. It was another one. I don't know if it showed up yet, or not, or if it was in Lying From You. Was it? I don't remember.
What are you talking about?
Really quick, because there's this thing like I remembered.
Yo. Well, what are you thinking of? I don't want too much dead air here.
Yeah, I do. I just don't want to spoil it. I guess it's just where he holds a note for a really long time. It's like a scream, like it's in the chorus. It might be in the next song, honestly. Figure 09.
Oh, it might. I don't know. Let's get to that then. Yeah, that's my second favorite. That's why I didn't think we would have the same top three. I don't think you can really predict what will stick with me with Linkin Park.
Okay.
You become a part of me.
Oh, this is the song I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
You become a part of me. Yeah, this one's in very meh.
Okay.
Because I do like what's going on there. I mean, it's funny whenever
I let myself become you. This is what you're thinking.
Let myself become you. That's it. That was it.
This is it.
Yeah, I really like that lyric too. I just had the thought with this album in particular. Whenever like I do the guitar parts, I really feel like Beavis and Butthead, and it's kind of Beavis and Butthead music in terms of like the tonality. So I really like it. It's different from like again the rest of the songs that like they've been doing. So it helps to like break it apart, not make it not all sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him holding out that note. That drives me insane.
Interesting.
I hate that. Like genuinely, I really want to put this in whack, but like there's all this other shit, lyrics and like rhythm and like tonality and all this other stuff that's going on with it that saved it and brought it to meh. If it weren't for that, this would be in like, because I do like the song other than that. It's just because he's screaming and like the effect, it's kind of got like a vibrato or a falsetto. I don't know if that's the right term.
No, I don't think falsetto is the term.
Okay, well, it's definitely the vibrato. And like that to me is like just gone into, it's like a jackhammer that's going into my head, into my ear. Just the whole time for like a good like few seconds.
You'll
just like,
always be my key. Yeah.
If it blended into like another sound or something, it'd be awesome. Or maybe if it just like didn't have that effect on him, if it were more raw,
yeah,
I would like, because it's impressive that he can fucking yell that and hold that note for so long. It's passionate. It's just I hate it.
You would hate Giving Up.
Give it up.
It's famous for this 18-second scream he does.
Oh gosh.
And it's the only thing that you hear. It is impressive.
It's more, yeah, it's absolutely impressive. It's just like, it's kind of just, I don't know. If it weren't for the vibrato, I probably would like it more, honestly.
Like
it's the effect that really like I dislike about it.
It's 18 seconds is longer than I can play and not get copyrighted.
I guess that's also kind of a bias thing because I'm not huge on Jeff Buckley holding out that last hallelujah at the very end of the song.
Oh yeah, you don't like just when they hold out a note for a really long time, I guess.
I do in some things. It's just like, I guess if we're talking about hallelujah, he already did it for like he already did it once. So the second time I was just like, okay, yeah, like I know you're super talented and can sing it, but I'm just a little tired of hearing it,
We're gonna be quiet for 18 seconds because I have to show you this. It's 2:26 in Given Up, from Linkin Park's album.
Okay. I'll listen.
Minutes to Midnight.
And I'll be hating it.
Here,
all right.
here.
Dwarf, she's 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 she's dwarf.
I actually kind of like that. I actually like that.
That's funny.
So because like there's also other shit going on and like the rhythm is like really cool and catchy. Like it becomes less his voice and more like a background thing to like the other things,
I wonder what you think of it in context. But
it's just the context of this. It's still like the melody. It just goes on too long, and the instruments are doing the same. So it's just like it just felt like it was dragging it. That I really like because also it didn't have that much. That didn't have that fucking vibrato effect on it, and it was more of like a just an actual metal scream. It kind of reminds me of The Wall too, like funnily enough.
That is funny. This is the album, Minutes to Midnight is the album I was thinking you'd like the most, but it's not the one I gave you.
No, yeah.
And that's what that's from.
I mean, we've done this before where it's like, like I did with Chocolate and Cheese and and
instead of giving me like white pepper.
Something else. Yeah. Or literally or Quebec, which I was thinking of too.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of tangents, which is good. I'm glad we're giving this
the time.
Same
with the White Album. Like I purposely gave you a huge one, but it was important to me, so I gave you that. But
good.
Yeah, so we got that out of the way.
Figure 09. It's my lowest like. It's good. This one is one of the more forgettable ones for me, I guess. If there was going to be, this one blends in a little more than any other song on the album for me.
Genuinely, I hate the stretched out note more than the strings in Faint.
Well, since I don't have an opinion on the held note and I love the strings, I guess I like your opinion.
It just sounds so like nitpicky, but like I genuinely like
it.
Every
really
time
does.
I listen to it, I dread that part of the song.
It sounds really nitpicky, I'll be honest, but it's like clearly a big thing for you, so that's all that matters.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really affects it for me. Same thing with Faint. It's just like I hear that intro, I'm just like, like genuinely. So,
and I think it's dank. That's why I'm so pissed they fucking killed that.
By the way,
that's the transition they killed.
I was gonna say, yeah, Faint was the transition they killed. It was like a few of them. It's like around here, where it happens. You'll hear it, but I'm sure anybody that's listened to any other album before, they can piece together how it's supposed to transition. We just
they did another one here for this next song. Let's get into that.
Breaking the Habit.
Breaking the Habit. Is this maybe, perhaps, okay, I guess, well, you had to listen to it again. So I'm guessing this isn't your favorite on the album. It is mine.
I don't know what's worth fighting for.
Yes.
I don't know how to breathe. That's not the lyrics. I went for it, though.
Memories consume like
oh, no, this one's absolutely in fucks with.
This is my favorite on the album. That's good to hear, though.
This one might be my favorite album.
Favorite on the album?
On the album, yeah. This one might be my favorite on here. Like, genuinely, like, again, we get, like, the really melodic, but, like, super rhythmy, like, bum ba bum bum ba dum ba dum ba. Like, it's a really simple, like, you know, kind of techno synth sound, like, kind of soft 80s vibe. And you get the record scratching, but that kind of just accentuates the rhythm of it. And the lyrics are, like, really soft, but driving. This is actually the only song that I sung to. I sung along with, because it's also super catchy.
It is super catchy, and I think you'd like the music video for it. I'll just show you a minute, because it's animated, and it kind of reminds me of anime. Like,
I think you showed me this.
Really? Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of anime. Well, it is basically anime.
Well, yeah, this could easily be just, you know, just a song that's like in an anime movie or something.
Yeah, it's like, comic booky. It's comic booky.
It's honestly kind of weeby. Like, I could just picture Naruto and the gang running to this chorus, but like, it works.
It's pretty.
This one's honestly also a running song. Like,
it's pretty glitchy. This song. You know what I mean? With they do that a lot. They do that the glitchy.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it kind of just. It's more like a drum fill. Like, that's kind of how it's used.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. It kind of just helps transition, you know, from verse to verse, verse to chorus, and all that.
This is a hard song. Again, this is like one of the hardest, knowing what happened with Chester, because this song's all about the internal struggle of mental health.
Yeah.
And depression.
Breaking the habit.
And kind of just about fighting, like being just being kind of that like bitter person that you don't want to be that person.
Yeah, no, like I really enjoy the lyrics too.
Yeah.
Like this for me, I guess like maybe with like what I said is in fucks with.
Yeah.
Just like just what the I'm blanking on words. It illustrates what kind of my preference in style is.
Yeah.
More melodic, but I can still dig the rappy parts, you know.
Yeah.
Just don't annoy me. Like, that's it.
Right.
There's nothing that really annoyed me. I mean, okay, there was one thing. It's small and it's minor, and I don't like, you know, knock it at all.
In this song?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just breaking the habit tonight. It's just
tonight.
Yeah. Just because you pointed out that like that's like the
way to end
the lazy way to end a chorus or like a verse.
Tonight.
Just everybody says tonight. It's just like it's so like yeah.
It works. I've probably done it. I can't even remember.
I also think Dan from Game Grumps said that and like made a joke of it.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure like I remember him doing that. Like he said something about like I think he in an episode of Game Grumps he did like the most generic chorus he could think of.
Tonight.
Like we're gonna do this tonight or something. I don't know. But that's not the point. It's just like I my brain can't help but notice it is the thing.
Fair. It's
listening for it or not, it's like it's there.
It's not something that usually detracts for me, but it's kind of it's a funny phenomenon.
It doesn't detract from it, no.
Yeah.
I just notice it is what I meant to like kind of illustrate.
I'm really happy that the song exists. I don't know how else to put it. I like it a lot.
Oh no, I mean same. Like for me, okay.
Sometimes you need a song like this. Yeah. It's really atmospheric with like the kind of the strings that are in the background too. They're pretty subtle, I guess, but
it's driving is what it is. This is like kind of a driving song.
Yep.
And it's like it's kind of night, I guess, out.
Yeah.
It's like it's something to drive around to when it's 5:30 in the evening.
So is this your favorite? or is this your second? You didn't take note of that?
I think so. I mean, I try to take mental note from it.
Okay.
I know it's that between something else,
which is I guess we'll get to the next track,
which is From the Inside.
Which is From the Inside.
Yes.
Is this the one?
This is in Fucks With. Yes.
Okay. I noticed because we had to listen to this together in the car one night. I don't know who to trust. Yeah. And I looked over and saw you bopping a little bit to it, and I was like, oh, he likes it.
He likes it. Well, I mean, I usually try to vibe with like any music, really.
Yeah.
And I noticed that too, where I was like, oh shit, I can't like even like try to like bop my head, tap my foot to anything.
Yeah, I was like,
it'll be a
yeah.
towel.
I just saw you bop into the chorus a little bit. Take everything
from the inside.
Yeah. Yep.
I think this might be second favorite. I mean, it's super like, it's super melodic too. He's singing like more gentle, like compared to everything else.
Trying not to freak, but I'm so tired of this to see. Yeah, all these verses are like ingrained in me.
Yeah, and I really like the rapping parts, and like the background like instrumentation just doesn't change and alter it. Like, hey, we're rapping now. It just kind of makes it feel like cohesive, and it's its own song.
Yeah, it's
like it's wavy, you know. You got the peaks and flows, it's changing, and all that.
And this is another one
and
where
it does the same thing as "Don't Stay." No, wait, not "Don't Stay." Easier to Run, where it has like a really funky sounding chord, where I think it's just a minor chord.
Yeah,
but like it makes it sound pretty interesting.
I have to mention it every time I remember it. It's because this is another one where he fucking goes ham with his screaming in the bridge.
Yeah, and like when he screams, it's like it's pretty. It feels more earned because like the song kind of built up to that.
Yeah, and then
I there's a lot to appreciate here. You appreciate like how well he can just sing like just straight, and the rapping is great, and then like you get the build up for the scream at the end.
Yep, and then back into the chorus. I think this is one of the better songs on here. I wasn't expecting like this. It was kind of the opposite of Lying From You, and funny enough, they're back to back in my love category.
Mm-hmm.
This one, like I remembered liking as a kid, and I was like, I won't like it as much now, and it like aged a little better. Lying For You aged just a little worse, in my opinion. So this is my third favorite.
I do want to point out Breaking the Habit. I'm sure I've heard before. This album,
probably.
Like, I think this was the other hit that I've heard because I think I just knew the chorus. It was probably in some like animation or some shit.
For Breaking the Habit.
Yeah, for Breaking the Habit. So I think that one's my favorite, and this one's my second favorite. Honestly, if I had a whole album of songs like this, I would like love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, I don't know, these songs, these ones for me are emotional.
They are, yeah.
These ones, like, I can be like, oh, this is powerful. This is like strong and sad shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. So yeah, this is my third favorite. So that's my top three. We've got it out there. Breaking the Habit, Faint, and From the Inside. And Faint,
in my top three,
that might be a bias number two, but it is what it is. It's
my top three in order.
It's clearly
Breaking
important.
the Habit, From the Inside, Easier to Run.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, all those are in my love category. Now,
I realize it might be the normie like thing to like, but
is it?
I mean, maybe not.
You
because,
hated
like,
some normie stuff.
Good, cool. I got a based opinion. That's all that matters. I mean, these all.
This whole album, like everyone loves every song.
The song that's in the song that's in Fucks With are all like the same, you know?
Yeah. People will ride or die for any song on here. So
like, they're all the same, but like they're different from like the rest of the songs, you know?
I see what you mean. They're I guess From the Inside and Easier to Run, they're like a little slower, a little more in your face with the mental health and the emotions and all that. And From the Inside could be like really relatable.
Well, yeah.
After like, you know, if you've had like a bad experience in a relationship or in a friendship or anything, which is most of the songs on
like
here.
I
but
really jive with like the themes talking about like that are in this album. and the lyrics really reflect that. That said, I think the what was it? From the Inside's lyrics were kind of forgettable to me. I just don't remember them.
I like the what we just heard at the beginning of it. I don't know who to trust. Well, I like the melody of it more.
Yeah, it's a lot about. Yeah, I think this album is just a lot about this album. The song is a lot about trust and all that.
Yeah.
And we've already highlighted some of our favorite little lyrics.
Yeah.
That's why again I felt like I needed more listens, so the lyrics could have been more implanted in my brain, and that way I would have learned the songs better.
That's a common theme, but we only have time for 3 in a week. So
yes. And we still barely had time for it. This week has been really
every time
weird. Honestly,
yeah.
At least for me, I don't know. I'm just got too much on my plate as is, but we did it. That's what matters, and we're moving on to nobody's listening because nobody's listening about what my week is like.
Yeah, we've only got a few left here, and this album. This is the rock fan in me. Because this is a good song, but it lands for meh for me.
This one's squarely in meh for me as well. I'm just this. I really wanted this in whack, honestly. But I think the lyrics and again the respect I have for it is
that's what's good about it.
And put it in meh. Yeah.
The kind of vibe with I don't know how to describe it, but the noise right at the beginning that you just heard. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not my favorite. It's kind of like fluty. Yeah.
It is a flute. It's yeah, that's what it is. It's not even a piccolo. But it kind of it's purposely done with bad technique, so it squeaks at right at the end, it pulls up if you had to visualize kind of the wavelength it was doing.
Yeah.
And to me that just sounds whiny and too hip hoppy. Again, I don't know. The problem is with this, and I guess with rap in general, is if you don't like the sound, you're not gonna like the song because it repeats the whole thing. And that's the point of it, Repetition is what makes music.
Yeah,
repetition legitimizes.
I'm glad that
repetition legitimizes. Repetition legitimizes.
All right, I'm glad that that Mike had a song where he could really lead. And there is Chester here too. He sings a chorus, but the chorus has always felt a little different, a little weird, because he's doing his usual thing of screaming the chorus, but it's the same thing going on musically as the rest of the song.
Yeah, no, it's a little jarring, honestly. It almost doesn't fit for me, because it's mixed so he's not screaming, but you hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like, he's that kid that wants to yell, but he doesn't want to wake his parents up. So he's like, what the fuck?
That's funny. So yeah, I don't know. Not much on this one. For me, what I was saying is I guess the album comes to a bit of a slump here at the end for me because it finishes with Numb, which we'll get to, and that was a fucking smash hit.
Yeah, huge hit.
But there's this, and if we're done talking about this, I don't know if we are.
I have got nothing more to say about the song. I said what I needed to.
Then we get to Session, which is an instrumental, but it's a very glitchy Linkin Park-esque instrumental.
Yes, and this one's at the bottom of meh.
Okay.
It's not in whack just because there's some stuff that's salvageable in here.
Yep.
I do want to talk about this because
go for it. Yeah,
that's kind of my thing.
They kind of just on the first 2 albums they let I think Mr. Han, I hope that's him. They just let him fucking go ham and have a track where he does what he wants.
There's just not a whole lot going on here. Is my problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it builds at the end, but it's just really. This is what I mean. This is where I meant the whole record scratching thing is overused because that is pretty much the sub.
That is his role in
track.
Yeah, that's his role in the band. This member, who primarily is featured on this track.
So
I just wanted to mention that, but yeah,
I would have preferred it if it were more subtle as opposed to the whole thing. more or less at the end,
Uh-huh.
but like there's not a whole lot going on musically either, like
Uh-huh.
especially in like the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's in meh, but like there's some, when you listen in, there's some like really vibey kind of like sounds that are going on with it. Which I guess is what I wish for out of this.
It's instrumental, glitchy
It could
beats.
have really changed the pace with it, but it kind of didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of sticks out in a bad way, I guess.
This is math for me as well. I did put it like right above Nobody's Listening, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that's that significant. They're both kind of like it hits this little slump.
That's what I mean. Like what I said earlier, that all these didn't fit squarely into a category.
Yeah.
Because everything that was in meh, actually no. Nobody's Listening a Session. Both I wanted in whack, but like they kind of just like bubbled up.
Just how they're all right.
And
I
Figure
guess.
09 was the same thing. It was in like, but I'm like I can't like forgive the parts that I don't like about it.
Yeah.
So meh, it was like kind of a divisive category, but that's why it exists, I guess.
Yeah, those are the most like, those are the head scratcher songs where it's like you really like one part and then you don't really care for another part, so you're like, I guess I'll listen to it for the part I like.
For this album, and like any part where I'm like, any song where I'm not like, or really like this, but where I don't have a but, it lands and fucks with. So that's like the potential Linkin Park has for me. You know?
Yeah. I'd say Minutes to Midnight might work for you.
It's kind of sad where it's like it's one thing, but it's such a that's why I respect that's the word of the day, I guess. That's why I respect that every choice they made, like they stuck with it. Like it is a choice.
Yeah.
That they went with. It doesn't land for me really.
Sure.
And we're all gonna experience things different. So
cool. Yeah. Then let's wrap this up then.
Numb.
With Numb.
The Big Boy song. And like I said, and here's the beauty of it, since I have no nostalgia for this album, Numb wasn't that overplayed for me. Like, sure, it was heard to death, and like everybody knows this song, but it wasn't played to death as the extent of Wake Me Up September Ends, Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
It's a cool move putting this as the last song.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's just kind of, part of the formula to put like your hardest hitting like song at the end as a finale piece.
Yeah.
Which is what I expected they did, even in the Spotify like on the desktop version where you see like kind of
the most popular.
When you see how loud the track is.
Yeah.
Forward is like one bar and then like Numb is like almost cranked all the way up. It's like they knew what they were doing here. That said, this song is in like. No, I'm just kidding. The song's in whack. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, where is the song?
I gotcha. No, it's in like.
Okay. Do 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 do. Yeah. So
I like that a lot, and there's rapping in this, right?
Not a lot. I was just going to say, it kind of not really at all. Really, it's like there's some mic where he's just like caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow.
Oh yeah.
Like it's almost completely Chester,
like the parentheses type of lyrics. Yeah. I really enjoyed that, like the call and response thing. I wanted more of that in this album as a whole, and I guess the song isn't really overplayed. It's the chorus that's overplayed.
Yeah.
But like it's one of those things where it's like if you hear just the chorus everywhere, anywhere else, you roll your eyes, but in the context of the song and the album, it's like it's a bop. It's like Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. You hear it anywhere else, you're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the context of the album, it's like, oh, hell yeah, it's a bop. And the chorus feels really earned through all the verses.
Yeah, and Chester's tender verses always hit with me. And when he goes like extra oomph with his screaming, it hits with me, and he kind of does both in this.
Yeah, that's why it works out so well. This is like, I guess, what they were doing, but just way more refined, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this feels really cleaned up, and like, they knew what they were doing.
Right. Tired of being what you want me to be.
It's really musical, and that's what like I enjoy about this song.
Well, yeah, for me, it's a love, but it's my fifth favorite. So
I guess it's in the same. Mine's in the same spot,
Pretty much.
Where it's like I really respect what's going on here, and like I mean,
Yeah.
sure. Like I become so numb as the meme.
Yeah.
Which also there was another. Help me out because I thought, I had a misheard lyric, but it wasn't like huge. It was like, I think I thought it said numb instead of you, which is what the lyric is in one of the songs. I know it's not going to tell you much, but I think it was it's something like I've become I become you. That's the real lyric,
Yeah.
but I thought it says I become numb.
I've become you.
I've become you.
I've let myself become you. Yeah.
That.
I
like how we're like already doing some harmonies too. I like it.
That was Figure 09.
Figure 09. Okay, yeah. So I like that. I like that part. I thought it was numb instead of you.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, I guess I don't know. Yeah, there's not much to say about Numb aside from that. There's the bridge where he goes pretty hard.
I love the bridge.
Yeah, what was the bridge? I was just it was just on the tip of my tongue, and then that's the wrong song. Loud and clear. So you're gonna play the right song, or are you gonna play the right song?
This is why the fuck did it play? I didn't even realize. God, I'm an idiot.
That's funny.
Well, that just shows how all the songs kind of sound the same.
And I know. Okay, yeah, I remember. I may end up. Yeah. You were just like me with someone disappointed in you. There's good lyrics here. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
I love that bridge. That for me is the high point.
I don't know what I'd be thinking if this was my first time hearing the song. Like it would always be interesting to know, like, if I was in your shoes, what would I think of this album?
Dude, honestly, some bridges like just hit way harder than the choruses, and it's really like dumb, but like I love it.
They've got good bridges.
Yeah, like this one, like namely for an example, the bridge in "Say It Ain't So."
Yeah, and Weezer.
Yeah, and there's I think another bridge in The Wall somewhere. I just don't remember. But,
dude,
like,
some
bridges are just
if the bridge is fucking dank, then you've got yourself a dank song.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so like off that like sometimes the bridge is like is more emotional than the chorus,
Yeah.
Because it's like it could really ramp it up, but it just doesn't. But like I still love it, I'm not like knocking it for that or any song where like the bridge is high. It's just like it's an observation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's
we did
Meteora.
It. We talked about Meteora. I'm glad we talked about it for a little while too, because there was a lot for me
to like pretty in depth.
There was a lot for me to say. We talked about it a little more than we do most albums, which I'm realizing like there's a lot of potential for that if I recommend you albums that I like grew up on, which I usually don't do. I usually recommend you what I'm into now. So maybe we'll have some more of those coming up.
Yeah, we actually got to talk about it as opposed to me being like, "Oh, this is cool," and you're just like, "Oh, I don't remember."
Yeah.
see the last
that
podcast.
too. This is a really digestible album at 36 minutes.
Yeah, pretty short.
Yeah. So cool. I guess we'll get on to ratings. Let's have this talk.
Yeah. Oh man. So I mean,
did you rate? Did you give it a rating?
Yeah, I have a rating for
it.
I was stuck kind of in between two numbers. Like pretty much after my first listen.
I'd have to get. Be. I think I know what it will be.
Yeah. Again, I'm surprised we talked about this so long because I thought I wasn't gonna have a whole lot to say. Mm-hmm. It really does change when you have some opinions about the album.
When I do?
Noted. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just remembering when we talked about some of my album recs.
Well, you do give me stuff that's a lot less digestible for 3 listens.
That's true, but for me, it was the same thing where I thought like I needed more than 3 listens.
Sure.
Maybe there should be. Maybe in the next time I give you like
a giant one, do it for a jumbo.
Yeah, I'll do like I'll give a jumbo rec for when we have time.
Yeah.
That way maybe you can get like a 4th or even 5th listen.
Yeah, I would totally do 5 listens for a jumbo. So that's a cool new rule we just established.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I have like a couple other albums that I want to give, but like I feel like those are even less digestible than Dark Side of the Moon. I thought Dark Side was pretty digestible as a thing, so that's what I wanted to touch on. Electric Ladyland, less so.
Well, it's not formulaic like this.
Yeah,
this is formulaic that really sticks in your head. Like
I'm just kind of used to less formulaic stuff, and that's not a flex at all.
Yeah,
that's just kind of like.
Formulaic's looked down on, but again, I don't think it's always necessarily a detriment.
It's not like I don't even like dislike formulaic stuff. You know, I love Green Day.
Yeah,
and Weezer. It's as formulaic as it gets.
Yep.
It's just how it's done and all that. That said,
it's about if you like the sound. Yeah, let's get into rating.
When you look at how this is categorized, it's pretty goddamn balanced. Meteora.
That's good.
It's nearly 3 songs per category. And it's just lacking in the whack.
Lacking in the whack, which is a good place to lack.
Yeah, I mean, it would only it would only not lack if I put Numb in there or like some other song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like super like evened out. There were highlights in here, but in the same way, like there were equal amounts of parts where I was like not looking forward to a certain song.
Yeah.
Or a certain part of a song, I guess, which would just kind of ruin it for me.
But even then, hopefully lyrics were able to enhance some of the ones you didn't like as much musically.
Lyrics enhanced like the theme and meaning behind like, the album as a whole.
Yeah.
Because they were like pretty consistent. And I do respect and like the lyrics a lot.
Yeah.
It's just not like really the style of how it's communicated, which will affect it emotionally, I guess, as much as it could.
Yes.
Because it's really emotional stuff, but it doesn't really affect me. Because again, it's not really my taste. That's I mean, that's kind of like the barrier we have when we do recommendations. But I like to think for the most part, we still like judge it for what it is and keep an open mind with things. Yeah. That said, it did kind of all blend together. Still needed a little more listens. I guess there's nowhere more dancing around this. I'm giving this between a 5 and a 6 out of 10.
Okay, so I knew it was between them. I need a number.
You need a strong number?
Because I'm logging these now.
I think I'm giving this a strong 5.
Okay.
What did I call it before? I forget.
A strong 5. I don't know.
Is that what I called it? Yeah, it was light 5,
guess so.
Solid, and then I guess strong. I forget.
I don't know, but
tough.
A hard 5.
Oh yeah, it was hard. That's what it was.
A hard 5. Okay.
Hard 5 to a light 6, and probably in the future it's gonna become just a light 6.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, I'm logging what we're doing now because we know eventually the podcast is gonna end, and I'm announcing it to everyone now that we're gonna like go through and give a quick I would give that this now.
You want to do an updated?
Yeah, it's kind of cool to
log it as a hard 5 for now.
Log it as a hard 5. All right, cool.
That's where I'm gonna put it in because 5 for me, it's just kind of like it's the middle of the road, and that's what it is because it's so balanced.
Yeah,
it doesn't lean too hard one way or the other. It leans more toward being a net positive. Out of the themes, there were some things that affected me, some great songs, but in the same way, there were lots of things that I didn't like a whole lot about it. And honestly, this is going to be one of those albums where I feel like it's just going to stay in my Spotify library and I'll forget about it.
Sure. That's a 5.
That's a 5. That's what a 5 means to me. So, floor is yours now, buddy. I'll wait for the angry mob to come to your place and fucking crucify me.
Yes. This album for me, most of it does fall in the love category. There is no dislike. There are just some things I could enjoy more. There are some meh. And because of that, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
With nostalgia and everything.
So it's kind of a biased
8. I feel that's fair.
A mildly biased rating.
I guess. I feel like it's a fair rating because I was thinking I could give this a 9 or 10 because it's fucking Meteora, but I wanted to be more more honest and more objective as I could be with my rating.
Again, first time listener to Linkin Park, so that's my
So I would hope to say that my 8 is my unbiased rating because it could have been a 9 or a 10.
Okay, gotcha. Well, because you said the word nostalgia, so I was like, aha, bias.
Well, with nostalgia and all, that's what I'm giving it.
It's just, at the end of the day, it's just not really my taste. If I grow up with it, it'll probably be a lot different, but that's not why I'm here.
If I didn't grow up with it, it might be different. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
But that's why we have two people here, and we have this kind of
we show each other stuff.
Divide a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool.
We celebrate differences, people. Quit fucking don't crucify me because I hate Faint.
Yes. Let us now. We have another thing to talk about.
Yep. Nice transition.
A movie.
The movie I recommended you.
You did.
Which is going in with the same theme that I'm going to have for the next 2 recommendations, which is that I need to revisit them to talk about them more in depth.
Yeah.
This one, probably the least so. The next ones, I'm definitely going to need more of a revisit.
Okay.
Because this will be my 3rd time I watched this movie. The Pianist.
The Pianist.
Pianist.
Roman Polanski.
A Roman Polanski movie, which, man, that's a name for lots of people.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
A controversial figure, if you will.
I didn't even really think about or get into that controversy. It's just a movie that has been in my adolescent youth, I guess.
Yeah.
Growing up. So we're not going to really be talking about that or him.
No.
Or keep that in mind for this movie. We're going to be just judging it for the art form of what it is.
I don't know much about it anyway. I will say, you took my Roman Polanski virginity with this movie, and I did want that to go to a different movie. So you're not the only one who loses out on here.
Well, okay.
That's my own fault. I was going to quickly speed run and watch the other one first. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get to. It has been a hectic week. So this is it.
Well, I mean, to show my first card, I think this is a pretty good movie to lose your Roman Polanski virginity to. That said, I think it is the only movie I've seen from him, so
likely.
Probably. The Pianist, when did this movie come out?
It came out in 2001? I'll check. You give a little synopsis or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I thought I gave you a synopsis at the end of last podcast.
You may have. I forgot.
Yesterday you claimed that I didn't or just didn't remember.
2002.
Which I easily couldn't have. 2002. Awesome.
Yes.
So relatively in the same time period. A year later, Meteora came out. Which I have to tell you the last thing about Meteora off mic. It has to be off mic. Okay. It's gonna sound ominous for people, but it's okay. The Pianist.
Yeah, you'll probably forget anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I had to say it. So, The Pianist, it's about a pianist. There you go. That's all you need to know. It's set in right in the good old World War II setting. It's set right before it and during it, and it affects this Polish pianist named Spielman. Of course, he's a Jew, and then kind of goes through the whole process of what it was like, what the life was like in Nazi Germany at the time, and that's pretty much it. That's all the synopsis you need.
Right.
It's a really, I did warn you. It's a really depressing movie because of that.
Yeah,
it's pretty sad and quite emotional, but its premise is pretty simple in that. And really artsy fartsy. Well, he took the mic off the stand. I don't know if I should be worried.
No, just sometimes I do that now. It's comfortable when I'm not playing a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a great movie, and a really powerful movie. I have to say, to follow the individual and personal story being told here, I might have to view it again because I kind of just zoned out at some points. Unfortunately,
I know that feeling because, like I said, this is my 3rd time watching it, and I said I had to revisit it.
Yeah,
because I didn't really fully pay attention to it, and to say that and think about it now that I've paid my full attention to it. I honestly feel bad for that.
Yeah.
That I didn't pay attention to it, because this is such a respectful movie, and respectable movie too.
Yeah.
For what it is. Like, I almost felt like I disrespected it by not paying attention to it. So
right.
That honestly sucks. And
that's not what I'm saying. Let me be clear.
I do get why, because the editing is honestly pretty quick in terms of like it's cut to different scenes.
Yeah.
But like it also like it doesn't outstay its welcome, so it's a little, double-edged, if you will.
It's just our main character's interactions with some of the characters, and like I said, the more personal level to this film kind of didn't, for some reason it was hard for me to split my attention over that and just like the bigger picture, which is about being a Jew in the
Germany.
1940s in Nazi Germany. That's what like really kind of I took away, was the big picture.
Yeah.
What life looked like, how people were treated, how ruthless it was.
Yeah, really
and how
brutal.
terrible.
That's why like this is gonna sound a little strange, but like genuinely Nazi Germany is one of my favorite like eras in history to like look into.
Yeah.
Or to study. And especially in media, like holy shit. And like, it's really it's awful, it's brutal, but like it's so tragic, it's almost like poetic,
Yeah.
So you get like lots of really powerful media out of it. You get this movie, Diary of Anne Frank, Boy in the Striped Pajamas. There's another big one, Mouse, which is a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And it's like Night in the Woods, but Nazi Germany and their mice, So it's a lot like the Pink Floyd album Animals.
Right.
So just quickly, like, give a synopsis on that. Those are some of my favorite, pieces of media from this time era, and it really shows here.
Right.
And like it's sorry, I'm just wanting to say it further like accentuates like just a study about it. Like this shit like really happened. Like the stuff that you see on screen, like it doesn't. This movie does not hold back.
No.
Like this shows you some really like brutal shit.
It does.
And not in the way of like, huh, cool. It's like a holy fuck,
Yeah, it's not like gore porn by any means.
Yeah,
it's emotional.
There's dead bodies on the screen. There's children crying over their dead parents just there. People walking over them.
It's impactful. It smacks you in the face with reality. Like
yeah, and the part of why it's like one of my favorite pieces of history to study and look into is because like this shit like really happened. This isn't like a a what if.
Yeah,
this happened, and it wasn't like honestly too far away from when it happened. And it's important.
It's still terrifying to think of how recent that was.
It's important to study this so that it doesn't happen again. And honestly, we're really at the verge of it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to think like, oh, things could be worse, but
it's easy to think this would never happen again.
Yes, it is. That's why. It's because it's like, oh, it's Germany, it's a different country, things wouldn't happen. But like,
even in Germany that wouldn't happen today. That's what we think.
It's easy to write off, but it really can, Like I want to show this movie to like everyone. And there's some like shots of like, places in Germany that are just completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And just empty and just filled with dead body, famine, hunger, all these things. And it's like, this could easily be America.
Yeah.
Is this what people think, when they think make America great again? Because it can happen.
And there are people,
no problem.
There are people living today who were alive during this and who remember this. And this was less than 100 years ago. And that's really scary.
Yeah. People who were in the war that fought it, and it's almost like it's scary too, because there's obviously like the really patriotic folk that are like, oh yeah, America swooped in, we kicked Germany's ass, but it's like we can be the same fucking thing. We're already electing dictators into office. Okay, not gonna get too political here, but like
it's kind of opens the political discussion.
It does,
movie,
yeah,
though.
but it's important nowadays to get talking about it and get some actual change happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's fitting to watch now.
Right. Well, I didn't take many notes.
I noticed. We watched this together.
Yeah, I usually take a lot of notes, but I really wanted to give it my full attention. So like I said, like I wanted to clear that up. It's not like, oh, this is hard to pay attention to. It was just hard there was just like it was almost like I had to choose to focus more on what was happening personally or what was happening like as a big picture.
It's really saturated in its tone and atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like soaked in it, and it makes it.
It was great.
Makes it feel all the more real too. I mean, well, duh, it's history, but like it doesn't feel like, oh, this is a dramatization, you know. Even though like there are parts of it that are just so surreal, but like
there's a lot of
it's horrific.
Yeah,
genuinely.
There are a lot of really great shots too.
Yeah, genuinely super great cinematography, great direction. And notice in this movie, it doesn't really like go too heavy into the concentration camps.
Nope.
Like, and that's what
barely at all.
That's what my problem is with the Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Like, it gets like everyone loves that movie, but I think it's just so it's borderline manipulative with how it manipulates the audience. Mm-hmm. You know, we're making him a kid, you know, we're making him have friends. We're going to add all the super sad string songs. And of course, we're going to make him die, you know? And like, it's just with an era like this, you really don't need to manipulate more than what's already there, you know? Mm-hmm. You don't need to like make him a kid to make him, you know, to empathize or sympathize with him, to connect with the character.
No, our character's actually like lucky, and that's like terrifying.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's the
he's
thing
one of the
too.
lucky ones.
Yeah, and he
gets off easier.
Really, it's almost unliterature like,
mm-hmm.
I guess, in the sense like it doesn't wrap up anything else. Like you don't see what happens to his family at the end either, or you don't know where they are. You don't really know how he got to where it is, and it just ends that way.
Is this a true story?
Well, I mean, at the end of the credits, it did say.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
You know,
that's why I'm asking. I didn't know if you did any research.
I didn't do any research, but I feel like it could be, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is or isn't. It could be. It could not be. But it's not like it's too far out of the reality anyway, of what could happen. But yeah.
I thought you had something to say.
Oh
so
no,
I was looking that up.
I thought you were pulling up a note. Okay, then I'll keep going for a second while you look up if it's true or not.
Okay.
What was I talking about?
So it was based on Spielman's. I probably butchered that name.
No, his name's Spielman. I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
His autobiographical account of how he survived the German occupation of Warsaw and the Holocaust. Okay.
Yeah. Also, like
it's an extremely accurate film, apparently.
Cool. That's good to know. I mean, it feels like it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it
doesn't feel like it does anything that's like too like, oh, Nazis want to do that. You know, like of course they were like super brutal and violent just for no reason.
Yeah, and
and here's the scary thing. It's authority figures being violent for a different minority group,
mm-hmm.
a different racial group or a religious group.
So
it reminds you a lot about current times in America. Sorry, I'm just I can't get over it. It's like it's history repeating itself. It's frightening.
No, I hear you. To move forward with the movie.
Yeah, with the movie.
The aesthetics, like, I don't want to say they're beautiful, like they are, because it's cinematography.
That's what I was talking about with like the our little intro.
Yeah,
because like this whole era of history is like it's beautiful, but it's so like beautifully tragic, you know?
Yeah, it's great cinematography, is what I want to say. But I specifically noted the snow aesthetic, which is something I'll always note. It's like you with some like particular themes, you'll always have to go into it and be like, this worked for me because it always works for me. That's me with snow, kind of.
For me, I guess that's a sunset, aesthetic of like, the real orange rays that go through.
Yeah. But I guess like to avoid calling, because like beautiful does seem like the wrong word. It's impactful. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's
very cold. It's a very cold atmosphere and take on it.
And some parts look like just straight up apocalyptic. Like it looks like the fucking Walking Dead.
It looked honestly like when he was like near the end of the movie when he's looking for food. Like
that's what I had when he's scavenging for food in broken houses. I literally thought of like season 4 of The Walking Dead.
And I thought of Fallout.
There you go.
The same way like you're looking in like broken down houses for like anything you can use for resources.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like an inverse of The Last of Us.
Yeah,
because Last of Us is all about like nature taking over, but there's no nature in this. It's all like man-made like destruction.
Yeah, and
did you hear that from here?
Yeah, I did.
my stomach.
I heard your stomach. And the whole like kind of rustic aesthetic of some of the shots too.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of what was going on with that, like. Really worked for me.
It's almost like a side when you like from Spielman's point of view.
It's kind of showing
you
what
don't see.
It's kind of showing what man made and then destroyed. So like I think that's definitely of thematic relevance.
It's poetic in that like humans will build the world but will also destroy it.
Yep, showing us all these shots like there's purpose to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's just a side of, Nazi Germany that you don't really like see in media of like, what it's like to try to survive and stay in hiding and actually like make it out.
Right.
And what that entails. Like you don't really like you hear about it, but like you don't really feel like, the hunger aspect with it, which is really like driven home with it.
Yes,
it is the hunger, it's the restlessness too. Like at any moment, like there's going to be gunshots banging at the door, and you have to be ready, to like leave. Like there's no rest.
And I wrote that too. That was one of my other notes. We're all almost like everything I wrote notes on. We've touched on already. Said you really see the toll that everything is taken on him by the end. He used to look like healthy and handsome.
Yeah, you see him transform. Like,
he looks weak at the end. His face looks thin. His eyes are like red, and he's just a mess.
Yeah, unrested. Yeah, I really love that. It's like so simple just to show like someone deteriorating like that physically.
It's like this is not like this was an attractive man, and by the end he's
who was making a name for himself as like a concert pianist.
He looks like he aged like 30 years by the end.
Yeah, and also there's some details like when he goes into the when he hits up the people that he was told to for emergencies only, and he's in that place where he's been the longest, where he dropped all the plates, that area.
Yes.
There's a separation of like where he goes to bed and wakes up. I noticed that his clothes were a lot baggier, like he looked a lot thinner. In the same clothes, which I love that detail.
Yes,
it's kind of subtle too.
For sure. So
I also love how the movie just dives into it. Like there's no setup, there's no like history lesson, there's no like you don't need to realize like, oh yeah, so Hitler's in power, invaded Poland. He's recording Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor
at the beginning.
Music theory nerd. Yep. You can smell the art major through the screen. That he's playing that, and like there's this bombing and shit that's happening outside.
Yep.
And he keeps trying to play through it to just finish the recording and everything, but it's just chaos.
I wrote that love the opening sequence. So.
Yeah, and in a way that's poetic too. It's like some people are just like
trying to ignore it.
Yeah, trying to ignore it, trying to make the best of it. Whatever have you.
Right.
Like he's fine mentally, but like outside the world is like going insane. And it could be the inverse. Like a whole lot of things to like just take from the opening sequence. And there's also it shows a divide and panic between his family.
Yeah.
Like what they should do with the money, how they feel about wearing the patches and everything. I'm gonna let you talk now for a bit. I feel like I've been rambling.
Well, I do love everything we've been covering. There's a lot that's just not outright said, which is great because it just kind of shows it to you, and then you have your internal response to it.
Yeah, that's what I love is that you don't need the dialogue in like half this movie, where it's just him like going from place to place and trying to find food.
Mm-hmm. You have a response, like a human response to seeing this person go through this.
Yeah, because you feel like you've been on a journey with them, and like every time he goes to sleep and wakes up, it could jump for months, that he's been doing this.
Yeah, that was my other note. There's not, I guess, a bunch to say about, but just I noted that a lot of time passes because we started on Halloween 1940, which is funny because we watched it on Halloween. And we go to 1942, 43, and end up in August 1944. By the end, he's been through 4 years of this, and like, it's easy to feel like, I didn't,
like it went by like pretty quick.
Yeah, it went by pretty quick.
It's just in a 2.5 hour movie.
It's over 4 years.
But 4 years, you are worried about food, being caught, where you're gonna sleep, if at all, and just like life, all it takes is just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Something simple as that.
And as you were saying about like it's kind of removed from a typical story in literature, it's because this is actually an account of a person. Like he doesn't know where he doesn't know where his friends are. He doesn't know where his family is.
Yeah, and like
they're probably dead. Like
they aren't genuinely. And even the soldier that helped him has died in the in the prison camp or what have you. Yeah, and like over the past couple of years, I've like grown to enjoy like the media that is more kind of just meant to be about like life. It makes it feel more grounded, like Firewatch example.
And I really like actually that, because obviously it really happened. There was this Nazi guy who helped him, and it like really humanizes these people, and that's scary because it says these are everyday people, and they're doing this. People do this to people.
Yep. Who of which like they've gone through their own stuff and like enjoy their own things. Like they have families too. Like it even showed it's not like it was trying to like make us sympathize with the Nazis.
No,
it was It felt like in context. Like it didn't feel like it was trying to preach anything at all. But it did show like his desk and that he had a photo of his family, and that's all you needed. It's just a quick reminder, like, yeah, they're human, but like,
it's not. It's definitely there's no sympathy for it. It's just saying like, this is what people are capable of.
Yeah, it's scary that like just everyday people can do this sort of thing where like they have this just so much hate and anger in them, like probably from just things that were outside of their control. Like having an alcoholic father, or just parents that didn't care about them,
people
raised them incorrectly, or just what have you. Really,
people are promised something and told something, and like they believe it. They're brainwashed into behaving a certain way. I guess we're getting relevant again, but but we won't go there again.
It's hate. It's fear mongering. It's spreading hate. It's that whole thing was like. The whole reason why, Hitler got into power is because Germany was at an all-time low, Great Depression, everything, and he promised a way out, and he gave everyone a scapegoat to blame it on. It's like, oh, this is the reason why Jews are the reason why we're in this mess.
Yeah,
Mexicans are the reason why we're there's unemployment is a problem in America, not because of corporate greed and just business models in general, which by the way I did want to talk about in the beginning of Meteora, that I just forgot about. That is like there's so much awareness now with mental health, and it's great. I really wish, and I hope that we'll get to a point where companies can do the same thing for their employees. Instead, it's just like you get a few paid days off, but like if you go through a rough breakup or just have a or someone close to you commit suicide or something, or what have you, and you're not in a good mental space, you're just going to get fired and get replaced by someone that, is more competent at the time.
Right.
It's just like it's expendable.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Completely. So, what did you want to touch on with this? We've been through all my notes. They were a lot more general. Like I said, I took this in more as an experience. Like it put me in that time.
I was just gonna ask you what notes were, so that's funny. Yeah, it really does like throw you into the time period,
Right.
And it kind of took a risk with like just showing like his journey, like piece by piece, but it really like just it almost makes it like you're with him like along with the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So you really empathize with him and just as a character.
Yeah, for sure.
Or as a person, just in general. It's really really based in reality, which I guess is the point. So I'm not really saying a whole lot of things that are transformative. I do want to touch on parts of the movie where it gets really powerful, at least for me, with some scenes which is like kind of near the end. He is a pianist. He's dedicated his love and his craft to his work, and he's been doing it. And for me, one of the strongest things is when he just walks into that room, where he's going to be staying at for the longest time, like I said before, where he drops the plates. There's a piano in the room, and I feel like, at least for me, I noticed that immediately when you see that. And piano, like an upright against the wall, is pretty much just furniture,
Yeah.
Most people have one just laying in their home, and it's just stuff to collect like cards and documents or whatever, what have you. It's just furniture piece.
Yeah.
But like, since we know what this character's been with, how long it's been since he touched it, and who he is, as an artist and performer, like I feel like I noticed that immediately, and I guess you have too.
Yeah.
And it makes it all the better, like once he leaves and he like sits at the piano, like opens it, takes a nice long loving look at it, and you hear all this string accompaniment like in the background, which is in his head, and like he kind of raises his hands to strike the keys. It cuts to just his face, so you don't know if like he hit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's obviously just miming the keys to not make sound. But he hears the music in his head, so he's
that's a quite a powerful visual for me.
I love that part
because he can't
so much.
He can't play that.
Yeah,
he has to be.
He can't express himself or like go back to what kind of like drove his life.
Right.
He has to like not do it in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, like the piano is his comfort, because there are a few parts where like there's one part where he's laying in the bed and he's kind of doing like this with his fingers a little bit.
Yep.
So like it just makes you think like he just does that like every night to like kind of keep motivation, keep going.
And I'm looking it up. Adrian Brody, who played the main character, he practiced piano for 4 hours a day to get ready for this, because there were a lot of points where you could see that he was playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there were other points where he wasn't. Obviously, like notably the ending piece, where he kind of plays this like masterful piece.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's something that you love about this movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like talking about just the music,
Yeah.
I mean, I love classical still. Very underrated, as the kids would say, but overlooked is more the term for it by just the general public. But there's like so much that goes into that craft, and it's like genuinely really beautiful music and beautiful things that like people can come together and get to do, like especially in an orchestral setting. But being a concert pianist like that, it's not uncommon to like practice for 4 hours a day. If anything, that's kind of low. Like more often it would be like 5, 6, or maybe even 8 hours of practice a day.
Right.
Just in one room, just doing that over and over and over and over and over again, and really refining it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a technical mastery that hopefully some people out there still want to achieve. I still do.
Right. Sorry, I'm looking up other stuff about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I also learned the I told you this. I learned the song, the Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp, minor.
From the beginning.
Yeah, and at the end, because it's kind of like it kind of like makes the movie. It kind of makes that song iconic with this movie, you know?
Yeah,
like just something about that song. It fits so perfectly with this. And genuinely, I love that piece too. He plays like mostly Chopin, and like genuinely, he's one of the best classical composers.
Mm-hmm.
And also the most challenging to play. And I can extremely vouch for that. So, really ambitious that they went for Chopin, because genuinely one of the toughest and most technically just mechanical things to play, but very soft. He's known for being soft,
right,
fast, and nimble with his music.
So
but that's the history lesson, music history lesson.
Yeah, there's the music to change back a little bit. There's a lot of facts about this movie. He really lost weight, which you can tell.
Yeah, I figure I think they had to have gone months, because his hair just looks like it was the same hair, just grew it out. So I'm like, they probably just took a break of filming for months in order to get them to look like that.
You have a guess of how much weight he lost?
So you have it right there. I would say 30, 40 pounds.
Yes, he lost 30 pounds.
30 pounds. God damn.
And it shows this guy did not need to lose any weight.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah, so that's what makes it even more you see the effects rather than being told that oh, I'm so hungry. I mean, he says that to some people,
Yeah.
But it makes sense in context.
He was.
Everyone says that, yeah. Every time you see really them, whenever they get the chance to sit down and eat, they're just really forking it in.
Yeah.
Eating it just as much as they can. There's just so much details, and it's just so much power and emotion that is invoked in this. The other thing that I really want to talk about, which I'm by the way glad that you agree with me with the whole miming the thing, is when he drops the tin that he's trying to open.
Yeah.
And it rolls, and then you just see boots.
Yep.
That are there. What did you feel in that scene?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I definitely felt my heart drop the first time I saw that part, and I feel like that's normal, because you went all this way, you went this whole length of the movie with him, and you see this, but it subverts your expectations, where he's asking about him, and he asks him to play.
Yeah,
and genuinely, this is my favorite scene in the movie, which I don't think is a surprise.
No, yeah,
but there's hesitation, with when he sits down, he's thinking about what to play, and it's been years, since he's properly played the piano. So the song that he plays, there is so much emotion that goes behind what he is feeling and what he's putting into, because for all he knows, it could be the last time ever that he's playing piano,
right?
And he's performing for this Nazi soldier, and which, by the way, him too, he sits down and genuinely listens and seems moved by his performance.
Right, which I think is exactly.
So it could be maybe his father was a musician or something, or he's been interested in it before, or he's had history with it, which is why he asked him to do it.
Right.
Or maybe he just loves, music like that. And it really, for me, the piano is a symbol. It's a symbol of hope, And that's pretty much what it meant for the character as well. And, with the soldier helping him out, it's also to remind you that there is, albeit in a really, brutal, unforgiving world, there is some good left.
Right.
And also it's accentuated by the people who were actually trying to help him. They see him as an actual person, which is very polar opposite to the rest of the cult of the world.
Yeah. I'm very happy to see that Adrian Brody won an Oscar for his performance.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I guess, and it was nominated for many other awards. I guess there was some controversy around something Roman Polanski did getting awards, which isn't a surprise. But I'm glad that he did get an Oscar at age 29.
He's 29. Goddamn.
Back then, yeah. I don't know. It's I wish I had more to say, I guess, but I just kind of let it wash over me.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what you do with this movie.
It was very strong.
I definitely got a lot out of it,
Very
especially in this time period, with where we and I are at with our lives.
There's so many,
our lives.
There's so many instances of just unfiltered cruelty. It's not disguised in any way. It's not like it's not filmy. It's not you know.
But it's not like it's not like overly depressive. I guess.
No. But I'm saying like there's so many instances of someone just getting shot in the face. Like
just randomly.
Just you spoke
or getting beaten.
You're getting shot in the face. You did nothing. You're getting shot in the face.
Or beaten.
Like. Right. And it's so far removed from typical cinema.
Yep. And like, I mean, might be a bit off topic, but it's stuff like this which is also like further accentuates like the theme, like the sub theme of The Wall.
Right.
Like when you really think about that. Because there are parallels to Nazi Germany, and it was growing up around then, or I guess around the Cold War, I would say. But yeah, there was a genuinely funny part too, like at the end of the movie.
What are you referring to?
When he's finally like, when the Russians kind of come in and like whoop the Germans' ass, and then like, Spielman runs out of the building, the thinking he's found like salvation, but he's wearing the coat.
Yeah.
The soldier gave him. And they start shooting at him, which is also really scary. But like,
I was scared.
Afterwards, where he was just like, "I'm Polish, please don't shoot," and it's also really emotional because he's like, just so you see like how scared he is and frail, and he's just like,
he could lose everything.
He's just so close,
He survived this long. Yeah. He could just lose it all.
It's not like funny, but it's just like, I don't know. I smiled because he's just like, oh, he is Polish. Well, why the fucking coat? He's just like, I'm cold.
Man.
But yeah, and then just right after that, it just cuts to him playing, well, also him recording that piece again, like finishing that.
Right.
Where the world is like back to normal. He's cleaned up, looks healthy again.
And the guy who helped him passed.
Yeah, and like one of the other Jews that was, just being liberated from the camp by the Russians or Soviets. He does talk to them like through the gate and everything. Yeah, we you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Just watch the movie. Like, if we're not going into that much detail, you need to fucking watch it. Like, that's it.
Well, I'm kind of glad that
there's not a whole lot else to say other than like talking about like the emotion and what happened during this time.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to unnecessarily pad it. I think we had a
it's
a meaningful
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. And also it's a bonus to like, this is one of the only movies where I don't want to skip the end credits. Because it plays over his performance in his hands, and it's just, like you said, it's nothing other than masterful. Like, Jesus Christ.
Right. Typically, I won't...
fucking wish I can get on, like, any remotely near that level.
Yeah. Typically, I won't skip end credits because I feel like usually there's, like, some song there, so it was a choice that was made, some relevance, blah, blah, blah. But I do like that it plays over the scene of him playing piano.
Yeah, and like
black screen.
Yeah, and he's like with the orchestra, like actually doing a live concert, and you see it through the end. And, see him take his bow and everything, and it's just beautiful, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who did the other pieces,
right?
That he played for the soldier, and the part the orchestral part at the end credits, which is also like the same piece that he kind of like did over the keys in that one scene I discussed earlier.
Yeah.
It's the same piece. I don't know who did either of those. But it is in the credits. So, in like maybe a few years, I might actually want to pick up that piece that he played for the soldier.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed it.
All right.
It might, probably not Beethoven, but like it very well could be, because he's very forceful. He's known for being very forceful and loud.
Beethoven?
Yeah, it's quite the opposite of Chopin,
Mm-hmm.
where he's more delicate and like quick,
right?
Shit like that. But I digress. I guess we're ready to talk about ratings. Final thoughts, Finny?
Yeah, I didn't write final thoughts, but like I think my eyes were open during our discussion about a rating.
Yeah.
So did you have final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, when was the other time I got like, yeah, Lord of the Rings was the last time I got a little personal, and like this one for me, obviously like strikes me personally, and with where I am in my life, I think this is the movie that the doctor ordered.
Right.
Which I was trying to find like pieces of media where it's like, which I guess I have been getting, Lord of the Rings, played Silent Hill 2 recently, stuff that's all like really impactful, but like, I mean, obviously as a pianist myself, like, it's really, I can really relate to the character, and like, he's gone this long and this much trial and tribulation. And the piano for him is something of comfort, something of hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that he can go back to and hasn't changed. And like, I definitely felt the same way, in my days when I would, like, practice really heavily and such.
Right.
And with how the world is now too, it's like, I mean, obviously I'm not going to compare, where I am at my life with, a Jew surviving Nazi Germany, but it's nice to like think, things could be much worse. And, if he can survive that and like live for his craft, then I'm sure I can too. It's like, it's tragic in the way that like it brings you hope, I guess.
Yeah, I just went to this the page.
The same way of like that Dark Souls can for me too.
I just went to the movie's page on Letterboxd and was reminded of a very powerful scene too. Of him.
Oh yeah, when he got separated from his family, he was
just walking through all the wreckage and crying.
Yeah, and like sobbing, like uncontrolled. It's not even like the movie type of crying. Like it's such a very realistic, like type of sadness where you just like it just comes out and it's very raw.
Right. Well,
so I resonate with this movie a lot. I think I have a Letterboxd. It's an 8, but I have no reason to not give this a 10.
Oh, I thought I was gonna go first. All right.
Oh well, I'm sorry.
No, that's just usually our format.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I gave it a 10. I had a 9 written down.
I thought I was gonna go into this giving it a 9 as well, but I was like, "There's no reason for me not to give this."
Yeah,
a 10.
I was just like, why would I do that?
Especially with how like, how much like
what
it
didn't
affects
work
me personally. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that's like the usually the piece that elevates it from a 9 to a 10.
Right.
Is like how it affects me personally and all that.
Usually for me, a big factor is like how much would I want to revisit and show this to people. That's not so much a factor here because I'm not. I don't want to watch this once a year or anything. But it's just it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
This is a powerful movie. It holds its ground. It's an important movie. Everyone should see it at least once.
It'll definitely give you, hopefully, a newer outlook on life.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot you can take from it. Like even, if you're not a pianist, you don't need to be in order to like, have it affect you. Just like the whole thing with the piano, like
Man, I thought you said if you're not a penis. I have to tell you.
Yeah, I mean that's why I always like emphasize the A, so I say pianist.
Okay.
But yeah, even if it's like it doesn't have to be piano. It could be literally anything where you find comfort, whether that's in watching movies, playing games, doing sports, working out, hanging out with friends, literally whatever you want. And it's also extremely easy to get a kind of depression allegory with kind of what the character goes through. It can be very easy to get that connection. But yeah, we already talked about that. We talked quite a lot about this movie. Got very real.
Yeah, I think we had.
Podcasts in general is just really, very real, you know?
I think today was a lot of good real stuff.
Yes.
I'm glad we did that.
I agree.
So
even if I gave Meteora a 5.
Well, there's a lot of stuff to glean from it still.
Yeah. Stuff that we talked about, so.
Let's get on to our next week recommendations.
Oh, yeah, next week recommendations. I forgot. I was like, what are we doing now? Blow out the candle?
No,
Forgot.
not quite.
I forgot we do the recommendation thing. All right, so did you recommend me the thing from last time?
You're going first.
Okay,
You're
it's
recommending
me.
me.
All right. Like I said, I'm following this this self-imposed trilogy of things I need to revisit. And it's okay. There's another like sub theme, and that's all kind of emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't believe you've seen this. I never hear anybody talking about this, but I've watched it like through, I think once, and only like caught a few things. It was kind of tough to pay attention, so I'm really looking forward to revisiting this. It is at the movie, of course.
Yep.
Watership Down.
Never heard of this. Okay.
This one's a very, very unique movie.
It's animated?
Yep,
I'm assuming
it's an
you
animated
mean
movie.
This movie?
Yep, it's about bunnies.
Martin Rosen.
It's based off of the book Watership Down.
88 minutes. I almost said 8 minutes.
And all I'm gonna say about this movie, and also I just don't quite know how to summarize it.
Uh-huh.
You can read the Letterboxd summary if you want to. It's an animated movie, and it looks very much for kids, but looks can be deceiving. This is a very much an adult movie. What's it rated? R?
I don't know. I don't have that here. I'm surprised to find out there was a remake 2 years ago. I don't know how that is.
Oh, I'll watch the original version if you can find that.
Yes, I will be watching that from 78.
Yeah, 78. So it's quite an old movie. It's gonna be kind of like dated with, I guess, like its quality, of course, but like you should be fine. You like to watch old shit.
I do.
It's a lot about at least I think hierarchy, society, things like that, animalistic nature.
Yeah,
it's very brutal. So be prepared.
Okay, well, it's actually rated PG. That's really funny.
It's very brutal. Don't let that rating fool you.
That'll tell you about ratings at that time.
It is scary. This is genuinely a frightening movie, too. So that's all I'll say about this. And I feel like I don't think I gave too much. I think that's a good enough hook to keep you interested, and anybody else who may or may not be watching interested as well.
That's an interesting... we're gonna have an interesting discussion next week. I wasn't expecting all these more like historical kind of serious things from you, because you've never given these before.
No, I haven't given them, no, but like genuinely
it reminds me of like Animal Farm or something.
Yeah, I think in this period in time where I'm at in life, it's very hard to think about this shit. Also, it's just definitely Watership Down as a movie and a premise that has stuck out to me.
Yep.
I just wasn't that avid on cinema or like really writing at the time I watched this. It was like 4 or 5 years ago I watched this, like fresh out of high school. So
what was the context? Well, I guess we can talk about this next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off mic too, like context of when I watched it. But so I couldn't really grasp like any higher themes or anything that's more subtle. Like I said, at the time, The Illusionist was my favorite movie, so take from that as you will.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I've got a bit of a biggie here, which I told you. You know I'm doing this.
Great.
I'm throwing some big ones at you. No, it's not like it's gonna take you any extra effort to get through.
Yeah, like just a standard, but like bigger than what it was.
Larger than life, a cult. Not even a cult, just a classic. Film. That you haven't seen. Yes, it is a film. I won't talk around it. I'm breaking your virginity now for a director, a big director.
Let me guess. It's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, you're gonna watch Pulp Fiction, my friend.
Pulp Fiction. Oh, I'm actually really excited for this.
Good.
I've never seen this movie, but like it's such a fucking cultural icon.
It is.
And like it's one of those where I should have like gotten around to it, but like since you haven't, you kind of save it, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I know there's another movie that we both haven't seen, and I don't know if who's gonna wreck it first, or if we just watch it together. But yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Wait. Are you from Quentin Tarantino? Because I don't know either.
No, not from Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
just
okay,
another
yeah,
one in
okay. I
general.
think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think this past few weeks we've been talking just about how I've never seen a Quentin Tarantino movie.
We have,
But-
and I was hoping no, don't watch it. Don't watch a Quentin Tarantino movie. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. No, me. Yeah. I'm really excited for this. So we have a classic and then kind of a more underground kind of movie.
And I'm pretty new to Pulp Fiction too. I watched it like half a year ago now, probably.
I like to think the people who know about Wash Up Down, they know about it, you know.
Yeah.
So like this movie should change you. I'm sure. At
Okay.
least, give you a new outlook on life. But yeah.
This movie, because you've made statements before about what you think, what you imagine a Quentin Tarantino movie would be like. So, it's made me want to share this.
I mean, I've still seen I think clips of Samuel L. Jackson, you know.
Yeah.
This
movie's everywhere.
Of course, you know,
Everywhere.
what was it? Try Me, Motherfucker, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's the there's the scene of him and the other fella pointing a gun.
English
downwards.
motherfucker, do you speak
English
it?
motherfucker, do you speak? Yeah, that of course.
Yeah, that's obviously.
Yeah. But there's the guy in Samuel L. Jackson, the other fellow, pointing the gun downward. That's been replaced by bananas. That's everywhere.
The John Travolta, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to do this. The movie's about as long as The Pianist.
Cool. By the way, I didn't feel the length on The Pianist. Did you?
I mean, it felt long because I think it was supposed to.
Oh man,
I don't know.
That could have been really bad. It could have. I didn't feel the length on The Pianist. Did you?
Stop.
Anyway.
No. I did. I mean, we already had that discussion, but yeah, I did in the way that I think I was supposed to.
I genuinely didn't feel it. I was way more invested than I thought I was. But yeah.
No, yeah, not like that. No, I just mean, yeah. So yeah, this is a bit of a longer movie. And if you're anything like me, you won't feel the length of it. So let's see how it goes.
How long is Watership Down? I don't think it's very long.
No, it's short. 88 minutes. I was just saying
less than
that.
an hour and a half. I think it's an hour and a half or something.
That's what it says on Letterboxd anyway.
Yeah, it's really short, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first watched it, I felt the length. But
Google says otherwise.
Anyways, yeah, that's enough.
That's enough.
Foreshadowing, I guess. Just enough. Period. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. This was a big one, and we're gonna keep having some big ones.
Yeah, very real, and it's just wherever you are, I hope there is love where you are.
Yes.
Some shit like that.
Yes.
Let's blow out this candle.
Let's blow out this candle.
Ah.